executes it any better than the Utah Jazz, and it's been giving the Houston Rockets fits.
Well, naturally, because of the people that are involved. You're talking John Stockton and Karl Malone. Now, here we have Stockton with the basketball. Karl Malone is going to set the screen. Now, if Stockton goes over the top and they continue to follow defensively over the top, and Barkley gets right up against Karl Malone, well, John Stockton's going to be open all night long. They are hoping that Drexler will come across from the other side of the floor, intercept Stockton. But when you do that, if Stockton doesn't score, he can throw the ball to the opposite corner because Russell, a good three-point shooter, is wide open. Now, this must be stopped this evening. They've got to give it different looks. There's at least 4 ways of playing the screen and roll.
He'll be another aspect of the Jazz success in game 1 on Monday. Had to do with their manpower, strength in numbers. They have a 10-man squad, and they've used it, and they've used it to great death.
Well, Dick, you have to give them a lot of credit. You have to say this. They have played 9 playoff games. The bench has been so productive. In game 1, a plus 16 points. Now you say, well, what's the big deal? They have shot in 9 playoff games, these 5 bench people, over 50% every single night. Now we're talking good defense, excellent rebounding, and then high percentage shooting. A coaching staff could never ask for anything more than that.
And the consensus is, Hubie, that despite the impressive performance by the Utah Jazz in game 1, most people feel that the Houston Rockets will be a lot more significant force in game 2. That's the story. Game 2 coming up right now. Let's send you back to Ernie and company.
All right, thank you very much, Dick and Hubie, and we can only hope, I guess, from a Utah standpoint, that the injury is not as bad as Hubie's description of it, because it sounded pretty nasty. But I think as long as the hand is attached, Mailman's going to be there, Danny.
He's missed 4 games in his career. No blister on his shooting hand is going to. I don't even think it's going to affect him at all. I think he's going to go out and have a great game tonight.
Is it easier to steal a game when you're on the road? If you're Houston, did you used to?
The Sea-Doo XP. It's a head trip.
Welcome back to the Delta Center, ready for game 2 momentarily, but right now, let's check in with Brian Burwell.
Thank you, Dick. Surprise, surprise, Karl Malone will be playing with that floor burn on his right shooting hand. It is a nasty-looking injury, by the way. It's right down here on the bottom of his right hand. They cut the skin away, and now it looks like a gigantic blister. About 15 minutes before the game, he came out and shot around without the hand wrap. And then he went back into the locker room, and everybody said, well, he's going in and going to get the hand wrapped. But he comes back out, and let's face it, a big old country boy like Karl Malone is not going to wrap his hand because of a gigantic blister. Back to you, Dick.
All right, Brian, this year's MVP getting set to go despite the blister on the hand. When we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and get set for the tip-off for game 2.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Nissan, who reminds you that life is a journey. Enjoy the ride. By your local AutoZone stores. For the right parts at the right price. Look no further than AutoZone. By Domino's Pizza. For hot and wow, call Domino's now. And by AT&T. It's all within your reach.
Strangers in the night, exchanging glances, wandering in the night. What were the chances we'd be sharing love before the night was through? Strangers in the night, two lonely people, we were strangers in the night. Up to the moment when we said our first hello, little did we know, love was just a glance away, a warm embracing dance away.
It happens every year in some of the most remote stretches of land in Mexico. And in the world of off-road racing, it's truly the whole enchilada, the legendary Baja 1000. A mountain of dust for those who can stand to eat it, and the end of the line for those who can't. That's why more drivers who challenge the Baja rely on the Duralast battery than any other. The same Duralast you can rely on in your car, because it's the one we stock at AutoZone. The Duralast battery. Power you can depend on.
So, you want to see my Discover Card statement? I am very, very prissy. Put up or shut up! I love to be pampered. I go have my hair done. I love to go have my nails done, have pedicures, manicures. My biggest weakness would have to be shoes. Cashback bonus award really floats my boat.
How many credit cards make a statement like that?
I am definitely a shopaholic.
It pays to Discover. Use it where you see the Novus sign.
And welcome back to the Western Conference Finals and the starting lineup, Game 2. It'll be Matt Maloney and Clyde Drexler in the backcourt for the Houston Rockets, and up front, Charles Barkley, Hakeem Olajuwon, and Mario Elie. For the Utah Jazz, 64 wins, a franchise record in the regular year. Jeff Hornacek and John Stockton are the guards, and up front, Karl Malone, Greg Ostertag, and Brian Russell. The officials tonight will be Ed T. Rush, Jack Nees, and Jimmy Clark. And there is Karl Malone, as Brian Burwell reported, going without any protection on that very nasty-looking blister on his right hand. Any problem could arise?
Well, after the blister burst in the second half, Karl Malone in Game 1 was 4 for 11 from the field. And there is a discomfort there. And any time that you raise up to shoot, naturally you're stretching that area because it is right on the cushion of your right hand, the shooting hand.
19 straight wins at home for the Utah Jazz, who have won 32 of their last 35 games, including the playoffs. So they finish strong and continue to play strong in postseason.
Well, they are now 44-3 at home this year. 38-3 during the season, 6-0 at playoff time.
And the Rockets, one of those teams to beat them here at the Delta Center. And the opening tip controlled by the Utah Jazz. John Stockton, the point guard, and Elie is on Hornacek, and Stockton breaking in for the layup.
That's exactly how we started Game 1. They ran this play 3 times in Game 1 to the right side of the floor. Stockton scored or handed off for a score.
And now Olajuwon against Ostertag, who got into foul trouble with 5 personals, and Mario Elie throws it, and it's deflected. Last touch by Stockton, so it is still Houston's ball.
Now the big challenge defensively for Utah, double team the post people and then get back quickly to the three-point shooters.
Matt Maloney again has a pass that's an errant pass, but it's deflected by Hornacek, so the Rockets fortunate on their first 2 passes on their opening possession.
Well, I like the fact that Maloney didn't look for the 3, that he took it to the rim.
Mario Elie with the jumper. Elie had 10 points on 2 for 9 shooting, ties the score. They're going to need Mario Ellie's long-range shooting, will the Rockets.
Here we come at the UCLA set again. You got to keep an eye on Stockton. Barkley just pushed Stockton out there. Could have been a foul.
And Karl Malone taking his first shot of the game, way off the mark. And here's Maloney guarded by Stockton. Going low to Olajuwon, and Maloney for 3. And a foul is called, and this will be 3 shots for Matt Maloney as John Stockton fouled him beyond the arc.
Now in Game 1, Matt Maloney and Mario Elie were 2 for 11 in 3-point attempts. Now you're going to see, now Stockton is halfway coming back. He got himself too deep to come back on Maloney to apply the pressure that time.
Matt Maloney, who came from the CBA and was the Ivy League Player of the Year at Penn, and his story has been well chronicled. How he took over when Brent Price got injured, and Charles Barkley and the rest of the Rockets said, we can play and win with Matt Maloney at point guard, and he had a tremendous year, the rookie from Penn. He had only 6 points, however, in the first game on Monday. He makes the free throws, and the Rockets lead 5-2.
Now Maloney's biggest asset is he attempts 7 threes a game, and also at playoff time, and he makes 43%.
And Malone throws the ball away, and that time it looked like Brian Russell didn't cut to the hoop.
Well, he was trying, Dick, but You had two Houston players who cut him off and banged him. Karl Malone was anticipating that he could cover the ground.
Rockets have won 11 of their last 16 playoff games on the road, so they know how to win away from home on the road. As Olajuwon, with his first shot, is an air ball. And here come the Jazz down, trailing by 3 with a minute and a half going by. Stockton gets the rebound. And here's Karl Malone, and he hits. So Malone, now 1 for 2, gets his first basket.
Once again, the second shot attempt. That was a surprising thing in game 1. Houston's ability to only get 10, and then Utah with 15.
And a deflection, Malone got a piece of Maloney's shot. And now the Jazz. Hornacek, and you got to get him in a hurry because he'll get catch and shoot. Ostertag misses with Olajuwon defending, and it's still Utah ball.
Well, Olajuwon disrupted that shot, but Ostertag at his size at 7'2", 265, he has got to send that home with some authority.
Just a bit more than 2 minutes gone by in the first quarter of game number 2, and on the turnover, Mario Elie picked up by Hornacek. Barkley open for 3, and Charles Barkley continues to struggle from the field. He was 3 for 10 on Monday.
Malone was down the floor. Stockton could not see him.
Hornacek throws it away into the hands of Barkley. Already the Jazz turn it over 3 times, and twice in a row on their last 2 possessions. Utah turned it over a good deal in the first quarter last night and then settled down the rest of the way. Barkley going baseline and is fouled by Ostertag. Good quick move by Barkley.
Bad foul by Ostertag. Anytime that a guy goes to the baseline and he's behind the backboard, just keep him there. You don't have to cut him off. There was nothing Barkley could do with that shot. Just stay with him, stay parallel, and keep him behind the backboard.
Ostertag with his first foul, and he had 5. He has been in foul trouble throughout the season against the Houston Rockets. But remember, the Jazz have 3 centers to use against Hakeem and the Rockets. Barkley makes the first free throw.
Well, during the playoffs, you know, Barkley is only getting 13 shot attempts a game. And he's getting to the line at least 8 foul shot attempts per game in his 18 points. But in this series, he struggled in game 1. He could not score over the top of Karl Malone.
1 out of 2 for Charles Barkley. The Rockets lead 6-4. Ostertag setting a screen at the top. Now Hornacek picked up by Elie.
This is a UCLA cut on the left side of the floor. Then they bring Malone off. Good call.
And Stockton is knocked down, and a foul is called against Barkley. Charles Barkley, his first foul, and Barkley complaining to Ed Rush.
Well, keep an eye on this. See, watch Stockton set the screen. Now that's a foul on Charles. Come on. He had a definite chance here to see him. See, he saw him. He just ran right through him. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to do that. You got to give the guards in this league a lot of credit when they set those screens on big power forwards and centers.
And once again, Stockton goes down, and this time, let's see, Jack Nees calls another foul on Barkley to the delight of the crowd. His second, and the crowd gives it a standing ovation.
Now this is serious. I mean, come on. We have only played here 3 minutes of basketball. Already Barkley with 2. You know that they need him for a big scoring night, and now they'll bring Kevin Willis in. Now keep an eye right down in here. He's going to set the screen. He's stuck. Yeah, I mean, that's a foul. I mean, come on, Charles. What do you can't try to make a point here. You're on the road. That is a definite call. It's not even questionable.
So Kevin Willis comes in for Barkley. Now Rudy Tomjanovich has running on the floor, still yelling at Jack Nees. And there is Hornacek missing. Ostertag with a second shot. Here's Ostertag again. And he'll get the ball again, and he'll finally call a loose ball foul against Greg Ostertag, his second. As Rudy Tomjanovich, I'm surprised he didn't get a technical the way he was raging at Jack Nees.
Yeah, well, you know, we have veteran officials here right now. We have guys with tolerance. Okay? And you know what I mean by that. That's a major key. All right? But you can see Ostertag now has had 4 easy shots. He's got to send them down because they're all high percentage shots. They're all inside of 3 feet.
Here's Clyde Drexler, who settled for the perimeter shot in game 1. This is his first attempt. 6-4, the Rockets lead. Greg Foster has checked in for the Jazz, replacing Ostertag. Here is Stockton, goes behind. Foster not ready for that pass, but he was a big impact player in game 1. Malone goes in, And his second effort is good, and the score is tied.
Well, that was just a quick move by Carl. He knew that he missed the shot, and he went right into the chest of Kevin Willis and blocked him out to get that ball.
Here's Olajuwon coming back, and Hakeem with his first points of the game. But already, QB, the Utah Jazz have 4 offensive rebounds, and that's what they used to beat the Rockets in Game 1.
You know, it's interesting. Everything looks like it's all Utah. All Utah. Until you check the score, and it's 8-6 the Rockets.
7:45 remaining in the first quarter. And Hornacek with the catch and shot hit. Very dangerous is Jeff Hornacek. He won't put the ball on the floor, and he gets his first points to tie the game at 8.
Well, you know, you have to honor Hornacek because he's so clever. And once he makes the catch, if you're too tight, he's by you. You've got to go into the big fella. He's got the
they are. Olajuwon with the fall away and a foul. So Hakeem Olajuwon, who now is being guarded by Greg Foster, is fouled.
Yeah, he is no match, Stick, for Foster. Foster's no match for Olajuwon. Just keep an eye here now. See, he'll just take him right into the middle. The double team guy must go for the basketball as it's dribbled. He cannot be trying to double team Hakeem high. You saw what he did. He has split 2 double teams.
The foul was on Karl Malone. The first foul on Malone, and Hakeem Olajuwon, who went to the line 17 times on Monday night and hit 12 of those shots, completes the 3-point play. So the Rockets are up by 3. And it appeared as if somebody might have thrown something from the crowd that might have hit John Stockton.
Yeah, it's over here to our left in the corner. Jackie Neese called the security guys and then told them it's down on the opposite side where they're taking the ball in downs here right now.
So following the delay, the security people over there watching things. The Jazz trailing now by 3. Plenty of time on the shot clock for the Utah Jazz. And Willis knocks Malone to the floor. So already the Rockets have been a lot more aggressive than they were at the start of Game 1.
Dick, at both ends of the floor, every time the whistle blows, we have guys arguing. We have at least 3 guys yelling at the referees. You know this is playoff time. The refs are in a groove right now. You must adjust to the refs.
Malone from Hornacek, and he beat Kevin Willis. So the Rocket lead is 1. Malone starts off with 6 points in the game. Olajuwon leading the Rockets with 5.
There's no way that Foster can try to continue to front Olajuwon once he gets the post area. Hakeem is too strong, and he keeps him behind. Now, right down in front, you see this is just a beautiful move by Karl Malone by freezing the man.
And Foster commits the foul at the other end.
Master in velocity, measure of the floor, compression of the pad, absorb the nasty floor. Geometric matrix, chamber full of air, control cushioning, get Herman Silver deer. Lateral stability, return the energy. The technology to a performance man is a serious thing. Lateral stability, return the energy again.
2 of the most talked about events of the year are coming to TNT this summer. Tom Berenger in Rough Riders and Gary Sinise in George Wallace. Only on TNT, the best movie studio on television.
You really got me now. You got me so I don't know what you will. Oh yeah, you really got me now. Got me so I guess that night. You really got me. Oh no,
For the first time ever on network television, TNT presents Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman. For 20 years, they took his dignity. Now he's taking it back. See The Shawshank Redemption, Sunday, June 8th at 8. The new classics are on TNT.
I would like to show you a nice move. Here's John Stockton right here. Here is Hornacek coming up, setting a screen for Karl Malone, who's going to go down in and post up. Now, once that happens, Hornacek's going to step back. The defensive man tries to front. All right, Karl Malone. The ball will come right back to Hornacek, and then a pass right down to Karl Malone. Now keep an eye on it now. Here's your back screen, a guard sacrificing his body. All right, Willis is caught on top side. It's all over. Once any good pivot man or power forward in this league gets a man on his back, you send it down strong.
Olajuwon, who was fouled by Foster before the timeout, hits the first free throw. The Jazz have out-rebounded the Rockets 9-1, including 4 off the offensive glass. And there you see those numbers. Despite that, the Rockets are leading by 2, 12-10. Hakeem, 1 out of 2 from the line. Very precision offense, kind of a throwback to the late 60s and early 70s. You don't see that much in the NBA. That's the way the Utah Jazz run their play.
Everything with Utah, according to Jerry Sloan, is execution first. We do not play one-on-one basketball.
3 seconds on the shot clock, and Hornacek gives it up. You don't often see that by the Utah Jazz.
He wants to clear out.
And there is Foster has a tough assignment against Hakeem, who misses the baseline shot.
Got himself caught a little bit too deep that time behind the board. He did not have a good look at that rim.
Here's Foster, who scored all 9 of his points in a 4-minute span in the second quarter, including a 3-point basket on Monday. Stockton gets a step on Malone, leaving Malone open and is put through by Brian Russell. Maloney was beaten, and Brian Russell, who really had a breakout year for the Utah Jazz, ties the game, and that is the 5th offensive rebound for the Jazz.
Now, Brian Russell's given him 13 a game in these 9 playoffs. You've got to pay attention to him.
Drexler gets the layup, and we didn't see any of that in Game 1.
No, see, Drexler, he settled in Game 1 for all perimeter shots. That's there for him. He can take Russell, he can take Shandon Anderson to the glass, and what you like to see is him get fouled and get on the line.
John Stockton coming around the screen, ties it up at 14 with 5:15 remaining in the first quarter. Stockton now with 4 points. Malone leading the Jazz with 6.
Well, if you're going to follow on a screen and roll, John Stockton will be open all night in the middle of the floor.
Here's Hakeem from outside, and Olajuwon picking up where he left off with 8 points, although he did go empty in the latter stages of the fourth quarter. He's got 8 points, and the Rockets regain the lead.
They're playing 3-man basketball, Hornacek, Stockton, and Malone. The other 2 guys are opposite high.
And here's Foster getting a 3-point happy. He hit one last night, then took another one, and Jerry Sloan had to be shaking his head, and now he misses one from downtown again.
Clyde just took a nasty spill that time on that pass.
And from the corner, Drexler misses. Stockton gets the rebound. 4:20 to go in the first quarter. Hornacek with a catch and shot. Misses from 3, and here's Maloney pushing it up for the Houston Rockets, and he gets the basket. Matt Maloney now with 5 points, and now the Rockets lead by 4.
Anytime Ostertag is out of the lineup, you can take the ball right to the rim here. You don't have to be worrying about shot blocking.
And Karl Malone with an off-balance shot, but there is Stockton again. Malone going in for the layup, and it's tipped up by Foster. Let's see who gets credit for the basket. It will be Greg Foster.
Now that is John Stockton's 2nd offensive rebound in this quarter.
3:40 to go, and despite the big edge off the glass for the Jazz, the Rockets lead by 2. Here is Maloney penetrating, and only white shirts underneath, so the Rockets get back defensively. The Jazz looking to tie it up, and Hornacek's pass off the hands of Foster. We have a 3-on-2 break, broken up by Hornacek.
Great play.
Great anticipation by Jeff Hornacek.
4-on-2.
And Hornacek open for the jumper, ties the game once again. We have had 6 ties in this first quarter and a timeout.
Dick, it's always nice when you run a 4-on-2 break that you can have the confidence to pass through the trailer for a 15-foot jump shot. All right, you can see that was just a 3-on-2. Now here it comes right into the picture here right now. Maloney makes Hornacek excellent anticipation. Now look at this. The first guy took the defense through, and now you have confidence that Hornacek is going to nail.
What are you doing on the boards?
Throw elbow.
Guy's on a fast break.
Trip him.
What guy looks at you?
Refer to his mother.
What's this? He's got it. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
No more.
No more.
Wait. This isn't me. I gotta play with decency, honesty. I gotta play clean. Nice shot.
The light of a flickering image makes the world come alive.
I am the master of my fate.
Holding a mirror up to our lives, the filmmaker shows us a reflection of our world. TNT is proud to be a part of this grand tradition of storytelling.
I'm out.
You can't get out.
These are the TNT originals. And these are the stars who interpret our world and bring life to our heritage. Movies that challenge us, outrage us, and comfort us. Movies that become a part of our lives. The original motion pictures that only one studio could create. TNT, the best movie studio on television.
Right now we have John Stockton involved in a screen and roll. But over here we have a staggered screen or a double screen for Jeff Hornacek, keeping you occupied. Now just watch what happens as Stockton comes into the middle. Olajuwon steps up but then goes back, and Maloney follows. Now if you're going to do that, Stockton's going to be in the middle of this floor all night long because the distance is too far for the offside people to rotate in. It's called precision movement, spacing, stretch the defense.
John Stockton gets his first breather, and Howard Isley, who didn't have impressive numbers but played a solid game that didn't show in the box score, replaces him at point guard. Hakeem Olajuwon now with 10 points as he hits the jump shot. Charles Barkley with 2 early fouls on the sideline, as is Greg Ostertag, who picked up 2 for the Jazz. And here's Isley, who passes out to Karl Malone. And there is Foster tipping the ball into Isley's hand. So once again, the Jazz keep possession. They're getting a bundle of second chance points. This time, Willis gets the rebound. 2:25 remaining in the first quarter. The Rockets lead by 2. Mario Elie off the glass, and he's fouled. So Elie will go to the line.
Dick, you made a great point, and that is too many second shot attempts. Now, we are nearing the end of the first quarter. 2 minutes to go. And already, Utah has 7 second shot attempts at the offensive end. Now, you know that Houston's doing a good job defensively on his first shot, but the reason why the game is close are the second shot chances. They've got to cut this down. 15 for a game is a ton for any team to get 15. They have 7 with 2 minutes to go.
That's too much, and you know the Rockets worked on that during their off day. Mario Elie, who's been an outstanding free throw shooter in the playoffs, makes 1 out of 2. Elie, an 84% free throw shooter, and another foul called against the Jazz.
Now this is just a nice try for a save by Karl Malone in that area there. Unfortunately, the ball bounced up and hit the back of the backboard.
So the foul waved off, and it is an out-of-bounds play. Sedale Freed has come in the game for the Houston Rockets. And Sedale Freed hits the jumper.
Well, you know he can make that, Dick. He's been around a long time. He's been with a lot of playoff teams. For his career, he averages 10 points a game, and that will get him going off the bench.
Playoffs, 12 out of his 14 years, did not score in game 1. And he hits the jumper here, so already the Rockets getting some mileage from their bench. Pass Isley is pushed as Malone trying to get it inside.
Karl Malone right now is talking to the referee, Eddie Rush. Mainly because Sedale Freed put a real whack on Karl Malone as Malone was trying to come across the lane. He is really hot. And as soon as that foul was called, he immediately went right to Eddie Rush and vented a little bit. Keep an eye on this. Now just watch Sedale Freed set him up. See, now you say, that's a little bit of a flop. But what Malone is doing here right now is he's trying to get the call maybe down the line for that same screen.
4th team foul against the Rockets. It was charged to Clyde Drexler. Hornacek And Foster gets the rebound again. So another offensive rebound. That's 8 here in the first quarter. We have under a minute and a half remaining with the Utah Jazz trailing by 5 to the Rockets. Brian Russell makes it a 2-point game. Russell with the first 3-pointer of the game for either team.
He's just had an outstanding playoff so far. That's his 3rd make of the year in the playoffs. He's 13 for 42.
Sedale 3 misses from the perimeter. Rebound by Malone. That's 5 rebounds for the mailman. Under a minute remaining in the first. And a 2-point lead for the Rockets. Isley misses for 3. Malone gets another offensive rebound. And the Jazz are really destroying the Houston Rockets off the offensive glass. 9 offensive boards.
And it's staggering because they're still ahead by 2.
Brian Russell working against Mario Elie. Very tough defender, but that doesn't affect Russell, who hits a 2 to tie the game at 23.
Very tough shot.
So the Jazz quickly erase a 5-point deficit with 13 on the shot clock and 20 remaining in the quarter. Olajuwon moves into Foster, misses the layup. Foster with a good body defense there.
Yeah, he anticipated him going baseline. It could have been an offensive foul.
Playing for the last shot of the quarter, Howard Isley from Boston College. Very reliable backup point guard. And Isley gets it in to Malone, and a foul is called at the buzzer. No time showing, but a Rocket foul.
Keep an eye on Brian Russell coming here. Look, Mario Elie right up in there, challenged in the NBA. That's the difference between the NBA and college. At this level, all they need is just a brief opening, and it can just be 1 inch to 2 inches, and the shot is right in your face.
Karl Malone going to the line, and the first free throw attempt by the Utah Jazz tonight with 0.4 of a second put back on the clock. And the Jazz with their first lead since the opening basket of the game. Remember, at the end of the half in game 1, John Stockton fired up a 3 at the buzzer.
Right now, Rudy Tomjanovich must solve the defensive rebounding problem, and that is the perimeter 3 players, meaning Drexler, Elie, and Sedale Reed, have got to come back inside and help out on the defensive boards, Dick, because right now they are in no man's land.
The Jazz finished with 7 straight points, and Karl Malone has 10. And we have completed 1 here at the Delta Center with the score, the Utah Jazz 25 and the Houston Rockets 23.
We were on vacation.
Oh, your sunglasses.
When we realized we were sitting on a gold mine.
Rubber sunglasses.
Too bad none of the stores saw it that way. So we looked into getting our own store.
How much?
Maybe we need a catalog.
How long? So, any more bright ideas?
Actually, yes.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone.
Our own website.
It's gonna be a bright, shining day.
Soon, we were open for business everywhere. And before we knew it, we were selling shade to everyone under the sun.
Open a storefront on the internet with the most powerful network in the world.
Just what you need, a flat. Get new Prestone Tire Jack, the premium sealer and inflator that passes the Prestone 7 nail test. It's the only one with the AcroSeal system. New Prestone Tire Jack, protection that's tough as nails.
Girl, you really got me now. You got me so I don't know what you will.
The Blue Monster is one course you don't want to play with sore muscles. So before I tee off, I take Advil.
Doctors know Advil works right at the site of pain, stopping it where it starts.
It also works great on headaches.
Advanced medicine for pain.
And And welcome back to the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, Utah. Start of the second quarter in Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Inside the NBA will follow tonight's action on TNT. Tomorrow night, Game 2. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock between the Miami Heat, who gave the Chicago Bulls a tremendous scare before the Bulls' defense in the fourth quarter of Game 1. And, of course, Friday will be in Houston for Game 3 of this series between the Jazz and the Rockets. The shooting in the first quarter, but the big story, the offensive rebounds for Utah, a 9-0 whitewash.
Yeah, and it is meant 9 additional shots. Now, there's a staggering stat here right now. In the first quarter, in the rebounding department, Utah, 20 rebounds, Houston, 4. On the foul line, the Rockets were 7 for 10. Utah, only 2 for 2.
Clyde Drexler going to the basket and misses, and Willis with the follow-up. Charles Barkley with 2 fouls back in the lineup for the Rockets, as is Eddie Johnson, who the Rockets hope will give him some three-point shooting. Antoine Carr has come in for the Utah Jazz as Stockton is fouled, and Shandon Anderson, the rookie, also in for Utah. Let's check in with Brian Burwell.
Okay, Dick, everybody saw Carl just go off the court. The dead skin was actually curling up on the bruise, and it was bothering him, so they went back and they're trimming it off. This is really getting graphic, isn't it? Back to you guys.
Well, it's getting graphic, but you're doing a good job to say the necessary things, Brian. Thank you.
Because it's definitely affected his shooting. You know, sometimes he's right on the money. Other times he's missing so outrageously that you know that it is the heel of the right hand.
John Stockton, who had 16 points and 13 assists in Monday night's Game 1, giving the Jazz the 2-point lead. Half a minute gone by in the second. Barkley guarded by Foster. Remember, Charles Barkley picked up 2 early fouls. And Clyde Drexler is blocked by Antoine Carr. And another block by Carr results in a foul against Kevin Willis.
I like the fact that Drexler is being more active right now. He can take whoever he's playing off the dribble from that left side of the floor. And then with movement, when the ball goes into the post, more cutting by Clyde will open him up, and they have difficulty defending him.
Kevin Willis on the line. He's a 65% shooter in the playoffs. Willis, with 18 minutes, scored 3 points and 5 rebounds in Game 1. The 34-year-old veteran, and a lot of veterans on Rudy Tomjanovich's team, built to win a title, maybe one last shot.
Well, out of their top 8 players, 7 guys are over 33 years of age. So, you know, there's a ton of experience right there. And when you think of it, and you say Eddie Johnson, Barkley, Sedell 3, Matt Maloney, you know, and Kevin Willis, they're all new to this team, and they're in that 8-man rotation.
Here is Stockton coming around a Foster screen. Brian Russell misses from 3, and Barkley with the outlet pass to Eddie Johnson. Tied at 27. Little more than a minute gone by here in this second quarter. Sedale Threet getting a lot of first half action. Misses. Willis crashing the boards. And now the Jazz have Antoine Carr releasing, and Carr gets the layup.
Well, that's what you're trying to avoid. You're trying to avoid easy baskets, especially when big men release early.
And we saw Karl Malone do that countless times in Game 1. Willis's shot falls off. And another rebound by Antoine Carr, and another release by a big man, Greg Foster, and he misses the jumper. He was open from the baseline.
Yeah, unfortunately, he could not turn the corner. His weight was going, and if he would have continued, he probably would have dribbled right out of bounds.
Weight going where? Shandon Anderson guarding Eddie Johnson, who misses, and the rebound. Long rebound, and here is Brian Russell, and he'll get the easy basket, and the Jazz have done that too many times to suit the Rockets.
Yeah, well, Rudy T is very upset. I mean, he called a quick 20-second, and the reason for that is if your man takes a 3, you know that you can release on him if he continues to watch the shot, and that's what they have done here on 2 occasions. Now, this is just a good break by a big man outrunning his defender, and if you notice, there are no big defenders in your picture. And then at the play right after this, Russell was defending Eddie Johnson. When Eddie Johnson attempted the 3, Russell continued on going. Eddie Johnson never made a move to retreat.
Sunday night NFL on TNT begins August 3rd.
Perhaps even more impressive than pure, unbridled power is the ability to harness it. Sierra by GMC, putting you comfortably in command.
From Germany to Korea to Vietnam, from Omaha Beach to Omaha, Nebraska. This Memorial Day weekend, Operation TNT will take you from the battlefields that tested our courage to the heartland of America. With a monumental lineup of movies, live event coverage from the wall that heals. Dig in for 32 unstoppable hours of movies beginning Sunday at noon. And then pause with TNT for the first ever national moment of silence on Memorial Day, as America comes together to honor the sacrifices that make us a nation. Operation TNT begins with Run Silent, Run Deep, Sunday at noon on TNT.
Now, the last play. Here is Eddie Johnson right here with the basketball. Shandon Anderson is trying to run at him right here. But here is Russell. Russell's playing this man. He runs at him, applies the pressure, runs right through. As the shot is missed, watch what happens. This is really interesting. Keep an eye on it now. Clyde Drexler and Eddie Johnson, both are flat-footed. Neither player rotated back. Anytime that a long jump shot goes up, you know that your outside perimeter people have got to rotate because it's a long three.
Eddie Johnson with a runner, fight for the loose ball, and it goes out of bounds. An alert play by Shandon Anderson to block off Willis from trying to make a save, so it's Utah ball. John Stockton already very quietly has had that kind of a game. 6 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists.
Well, he should be rebounding. He's the smallest guy on the floor, right? He should have
6. Makes sense.
Right.
Here's the screen and spot up, and missed by Antoine Carr, and the rebound by Willis. The Jazz are on a 13-4 run ever since the Rockets had their biggest lead of 5, and Sedale Creed on a nifty pass from Charles Barkley, and it's 31-29.
In game 1, all the Houston did was stand on the outside. Tonight, they are cutting the guards through anytime Barkley or Olajuwon have the ball down on the left side of the floor, and they are open.
3 minutes to go, and we will have a foul, offensive foul against Shandon Anderson. That'll be his first.
Shandon Anderson and then also Russell are the 2 high-energy guys for Utah. They both can play either the small forward or the 2-guard position.
And a lot more energy at that small forward spot than the Utah Jazz have had in recent years. Here is Barkley now double-teamed. Stockton stayed with Johnson, leaving Creed open, and Morris gets the rebound. Chris Morris into the game for the first time with Stockton, Foster, Carr, and Shandon Anderson. So Karl Malone has remained on the bench since the second quarter has started, but a foul, and John Stockton. All you need is one of the 2 on the floor, I guess, at one time.
Well, it's smart what Jerry Sloan does. He always takes Stockton out after 6 minutes of playing the first quarter, so that when he comes back on the floor to start the second quarter, he's out there with 4 second-unit players in Stockton to keep things together.
John Stockton, who led the NBA in assists for 9 straight years, and it was broken this season when he finished second to Mark Jackson. Stockton, the NBA all-time assist and steals leader, makes both free throws. He has 8 points. So Malone has 10, Russell 9, Stockton 8 to lead the Jazz, who are up by 4. A little more than 3.5 minutes have elapsed here in the second quarter. Good rotation by the Utah Jazz. Willis in the paint over Carr, throws up a wild shot. Utah's defense in the half court has been terrific so far. And here is a great play by Chris Morris, who was a part-time starter last year along with David Benoit, now coming off the bench and getting a spectacular basket to give the Jazz their biggest lead of the game. Barkley muscling in against Foster. Misses. Barkley 0 for 2 from the field. And spotting up and missing this time is Morris, but Foster gives the Jazz another chance. He goes outside and hits it.
Why not? He's feeling good. He helped break open this game in the second quarter in game 1, coming in and getting 9 quick points.
Timeout called by the Rockets. Utah has 10 offensive rebounds.
Now this is a nice move by Morris. You can see he played that right off the glass. Now right here, Foster takes us out to the corner, and he's saying, hey, I can knock down the 17 to 21-foot jump shot.
Foster, 9 points in game 1 on 3 for 5 shooting, and he's still finding the mark.
Up here, I feel like traffic is miles away.
With the most horsepower in its class and its accommodating size.
Unlike some others, I have virtually unlimited capacity.
Yukon can make you feel invincible. Yukon by GMC. It puts you comfortably in command.
I gotta go. Yeah, go.
Not going anywhere for a while? Grab a Snickers.
Please hurry up. Please hurry up. Oh. Come on.
When I was 12 years old, I told Red Auerbach that I'd be the first woman to play for the Celtics. Sorry, Red. I'm booked.
They were separated by the forces of evil, and now they have been reunited in the name of the law, and they're cleaning up the streets of Chinatown. Stand your ground with David Carradine in Kung Fu. The legend continues weeknights at 7 p.m. on TNT.
Now just take a look at this. Without Olajuwon in there, we have 2 for 10 for Willis, Drexler, and Barkley. They have got to start picking up the slack here.
Arielli on the screen and roll, last touched by the Jazz, so it'll be Rockets ball with 12 seconds on the clock. The Jazz leading by 8 with 7:22 to go.
Dick, the rebounding 27 to 9, 10 to 2 on the offensive glass for Utah.
The 10 offensive rebounds, really a backbreaker for the Rockets right now. Barkley going baseline against Foster on the push. Foster committing his second.
You can look at this if you're a Houston fan. You're getting Utah to miss. They're the #1 shooting team in this league. Keep an eye on Barkley now. It's going to blow right by Foster. And see, they catch him. They said that usually they would let that one go by. Just keep an eye on it. See, he hit him right there on the hip.
Foster is going out of the game, and Karl Malone comes back in. So the front court of Malone, Antoine Carr, and Shandon Anderson. And the Rockets still down by 8, and the Jazz trying to open up a double-digit lead with under 7 minutes to go here in the second.
The Jazz on the defensive boards have been outstanding. And you think of the low percentage that Houston is shooting, and they only have 2-second shot attempts.
Chris Morris misses the rebound by Charles Barkley. And here is Eddie Johnson with the layup too far under the basket, and now the Rockets have a 5-on-4 deficit at the other end. Chris Morris throws up the air ball, but there's Antoine Carr, and he's fouled. And once again, the Jazz punishing the Rockets, including Hakeem Olajuwon on the offensive board.
Dick, Houston only shooting 35%. This is a major air ball. All right, and then we just good shot block by Hakeem Olajuwon. This game is so ragged at both ends of the floor, and you look up, one team with 6 minutes to go. The Rockets only have 29 points.
Want to remind you, tomorrow night coverage begins at 8 o'clock on TNT. Game 2 between the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls, who had to pull out all the stops to beat the Heat in Game 1 at the United Center last night. And the Jazz with a 10-point lead. They're on a 12-2 run as Carr made both of his free throws. So the Rockets, they can't blame the fatigue of the 7-game series in this game. They continue to struggle. Mario Elie, however, hits a 3 from the corner to cut the lead to 7.
Well, you'd like to see Elie, Matt Maloney, and also Barkley come out of the shell and start knocking down the threes. And then Clyde Drexler, who's been attempting 7 threes a game in the playoffs, they've got to start making them from the perimeter.
Elie, a 50% shooter from three-point territory in the playoffs. Here is Morris on a pass from Anderson, and Chris Morris, who played his first 7 years with the Nets, but was in the playoffs 3 years. A lot of people didn't think the Nets got in the playoffs that many times.
Look, this is a guy who started for the Nets, average over 13 points a game, and here he's lucky when he gets minutes with the second unit.
5:40 to go. Barkley goes in and gets the basket as Morris goes down, and the crowd upset with the non-charging call, as you might expect with Charles Barkley right in the middle of it. Barkley, that was his first basket, by the way, of the game.
Now keep an eye on this. Now, right now they're looking for a flop. Eddie Rush has been around a lot of years, and he's not going to give you that. He wants that guy to run right through your chest.
Here's John Stockton with a runner in the lane, and it will drop for him. It was Hakeem Olajuwon who accused Karl Malone of flopping in what was a widely circulated story after Game 1, Hubie.
I like the statement. If you're going to be the MVP of the league, you must be legitimate. And he said there can be no flopping. Flopping is not in the rules, so it is cheating, and you don't cheat at playoff time.
Cannot argue with Hakeem, who has the rule book in his back pocket, if he had a pocket. And illegal defense called against the Utah Jazz, and that is the first violation against Utah tonight. Elie will inbound, guarded by Shandon Anderson. 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Here's Mario Elie driving in his foul. Elie going to the line. 6 points, and will have a chance for 2 more. And the personal foul is against Anderson, his second.
This is just a very nice, strong move by Elie. And I feel as this series goes on, we're going to see Elie, Matt Maloney, and Drexler, when the ball is kicked out, when the defense is running at them, fake the 3 and take it to the glass and get to the foul line.
Jeff Hornacek will come back in the game, replacing Shandon Anderson. Hornacek scored 4 points when he was in earlier. Anderson did not score and picked up 2 personal. Elie with the free throws, and the Jazz now lead by 7.
When the pass comes out of double teams, Dick, it's easy to shoot 3s, but you better make them. Houston has been struggling in the 3s, so the best thing is to do is to fake the 3 and take it strong to the hole. Break the defense down as the defense is rotating.
Chris Morris goes around Drexler, and a good defensive play. Hakeem was a big force in there. Maloney pulls up for the 3. And the rebound by Karl Malone, and the Jazz looking to push it up. Hornacek looking inside to Antoine Carr, and knocked away by Hakeem with 15 on the shot clock.
In that last transition, Houston had a 4-on-3 break. Mario Elie was wide open on the box. I was surprised that Matt Maloney forced that jump shot.
Chris Morris gets a hand as he leaves, having scored 4 points, and he's replaced by Brian Russell. There's the shooting in the quarter, and the Jazz over 50%, and the Rockets still struggling. Here is Stockton with a jumper. 7-point lead, and the Rockets trying to cut it down. Utah led by 2 after 1 quarter when we wind down to 4 minutes remaining in the first half. Here is Elie open for 3, and Mario Elie misses a wide open 3. Houston is now 1 of 5 from 3-point range. Carr misses, and there's Stockton with another rebound, and he was looking for the foul. None coming, and they're going to call a block. Charles Barkley colliding with with Brian Russell, and it's Russell who picks up the first foul.
Now you're going to see Russell just cuts Barkley off here right now, because if he gets by him, there is a major advantage. And you can see that he definitely did not have position.
And the next foul by the Jazz will put them in the penalty. Greg Ostertag, who picked up 2 early fouls, comes back in at center for Utah. Ostertag defending Hakeem. Drexler misses a 3 as he continues to fire away from outside. He's 1 for 6.
I don't know why they don't go into Hakeem, and when they double team, Hakeem kicks it out every time, and then just repost Hakeem in the painted area. They can't defend him.
Karl Malone in and out on the turnaround, and still a 7-point lead for the Utah Jazz. They have gone dry scoring-wise in the last minute and a half. 11 on the shot clock. That is Russell defending against Barkley. Here comes the double team. And with 5 on the clock, Olajuwon misses. And it's saved by Brian Russell. And the timeout called by Jerry Sloan with 2:51 remaining in the half.
Throughout this entire first half, all Houston does, throw the ball into the post, one cutter, spot up. No continuity.
The NBA playoffs on TNT. Brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for a crisp, clean, classic taste. Budweiser, the king of beers. And by GMC, putting you comfortably in command.
They said imports taste better. They lied.
And how does that make you feel?
Used, manipulated, betrayed.
And how does that make you feel?
Used, manipulated, betrayed.
So now what?
I only drink fresh beer. Budweiser.
You have made a real breakthrough. You did it on your own.
Born on dating from Budweiser. What fresh beer tastes like.
You're on the road to freshness. Hold all my calls.
With Sierra's strength and exceptional power, life's daily obstacles are easily handled. But with Sierra's third door, you will have one less hurdle to overcome. Sierra by GMC. Putting you comfortably in command.
The legendary chalice of Malta has never come cheap. In 1238, it was captured by 10,000 Celts. In 1512, it took an entire armada. And in 1703, it took an arranged marriage to the daughter of Charles V. The older one. But luckily, if you want the golden chalice of Malta, all you need is the golden card of Visa, with extraordinary purchase power for extraordinary things. It's even mightier than the sword. Visa Gold fits everywhere you want to be.
Utah Jazz have opened up the lead. They were at 2 at the quarter, now leading by 7. And Hubie, the Rockets are shooting 33% from the field. And more important, Olajuwon, Barkley, Drexler have a total of only 2 points in the game. What's wrong with Houston's offense?
Well, right now, everything is stagnant. Everything is a post up on the left side of the floor or a little clear out. It's allowing the Utah Jazz to come down, set their defense, do the same rotations. Now they are trapping hard. They're forcing Olajuwon to get rid of the ball. But when he does that, if they'll just post him in the lane and come right back to him, he can break the defense down. Now you say, what's the big deal? They're shooting 33%, but how about this? They only have 2 offensive rebounds. The front line are not getting anywhere near the glass.
Jeff Hornacek giving the Jazz a 9-point lead again. They had a 10-point lead at one juncture a few minutes ago. The Rockets, you mentioned 33% for the game. Here in the second quarter, only 21% of their field goal attempts as Drexler misses a lay-in, and a foul is called against Clyde Drexler.
Now, that was a nice continuity. They ran a cutter through. They came over and set up a screen and roll with Drexler and Barkley. You had to play it perfectly. Drexler blows by his man. That's what I think we have to see a lot more of in order to keep the Utah defense from just coming down and settling in and knowing where to rotate to every time.
And the next foul by either team will result in the penalty, and an offensive foul has been called.
I tell you, in this series, have you ever seen so many guys 240 and 275 pounds be moved so easily as we're seeing tonight?
You move mountains.
Yeah, right.
Less than that in this series. Under 2 minutes to go in the first half. Hakeem Short with a fall-away. Olajuwon had 10 points in the first quarter, has not scored in the second. And the Jazz looking to open up their biggest lead of the game with 1:45 remaining in the first half. Barkley on Malone, the turnaround, and Stockton bats it out to Russell. And yet another offensive opportunity for Utah. This is game 2, best of 7 Western Finals. The Jazz have never had the home court advantage in the Western Conference Finals. They do here, and they have a 1-0 lead, and Jeff Hornacek will go to the line to shoot 2 as the Rockets are in the penalty now.
That's what we call a UCLA cut. Stockton made the pass, and he shuffle cut right down the lane, but Mario Elie got caught. He was on technical foul. Ooh. Jackie Neese down inside, complaining. It's probably on Clyde Drexler. He's really talking up a storm with referee Jackie Neese.
It is definitely on Clyde Drexler, Hubie, picking up a technical foul. The Rockets had 3 techs called against him in game number 1. And here's Jeff Hornacek. He misses the technical. Kevin Willis and Othella Harrington coming into the game. Harrington, the rookie from Georgetown, who scored 2 points and had 3 rebounds in the waning moments when Hakeem and Barkley left the court and went to the dressing room to get iced down. That was an early concession, so to speak, last night. Hornacek on the line, shooting. Stephen Howard coming into the game for the Utah Jazz.
Offensive rebounding, Dick, is positioning. By your continuity, spacing allows you to get to the offensive boards when one of your guys takes a shot. But you can see tonight, Houston is shooting less than 33%. The balls are missing, but their positioning and their spacing is poor, that they are not getting to the offensive glass to keep the ball alive.
And the Jazz have their biggest lead of the game with 1:19 to go in the first half. Clyde Drexler beyond the arc hits a 3. Coming up on the Nike halftime report, Suns head coach Danny Ainge joins Ernie Johnson and Reggie Theus for first half analysis and a preview of tomorrow night's second game between the Heat and the Bulls. So it's a 8-point game now. Jazz leading. Malone off the glass, and he's fouled. So Karl Malone, who has 10 points, all in the first quarter, will go to the line. And the personal foul is on Harrington, his first.
Now, once again, Utah went to a UCLA set, 3-man basketball, Hornacek, Stockton, and Malone. When they came back to the top to Malone, Malone was determined to get the jump shot or the drive.
And Malone misses the first free throw. Barkley on the bench. He has scored only 3 points. Drexler 5. So the scoring problems for Drexler and Barkley continue. Hornacek goes out of the game.
Dick, you're getting killed on the boards. You're shooting a bad percentage. You look it up, and you're only down 8.
Well, in game 1, the Rockets made several runs, and every time they came within 9 or 8 points, the Jazz put on the burners and opened up a double-digit lead to about 14 or 15.
And they're going to one-on-one Drexler here from the wing.
9-point lead for the Utah Jazz with 42.6 seconds to go and an offensive foul. Kevin Willis called against the Houston Rockets. Kevin Willis, his second personal foul.
Now keep it, look right in the middle of the lane. Here's Kevin Willis. He steps out. Ooh, he catches Stockton with an elbow to the left ear.
Well, the Rockets have protected the ball pretty well. That was only the second turnover for them in the game. Stockton underneath to Stephen Howard, too far under the rim. Malone trying to clean up. Harrington fighting for the loose ball, and it is a loose ball foul called against the Utah Jazz. We'll check to see who it's on, and it will be on Stephen Howard.
He's in there battling.
25.9 seconds remaining in the first half. The Jazz leading by 9, and Harrington on the free throw line. Harrington has hit 6 of 8 from the stripe in postseason.
There is no defense. If someone said this is one of the ugliest halves of basketball we've seen at playoff time this year,
you would not argue it.
I would not argue at all. And we're seeing it at both ends of the floor. We're not seeing the crispness of the Utah Jazz offense, and they're missing a lot of wide open shots. At the other end, we are just seeing a lot of ineptness.
I
by Houston. And right now, you look up, and they're only down 6.
Thanks to Kevin Willis, 48-42. That was only the 3rd offensive rebound of the game for the Rockets, who have been beaten badly in that statistic by the Jazz.
Houston takes care of their defensive board in the second half. Get on the offensive board, get a share of second shots. Hey, anything can happen here tonight.
Stockton misses. Time running out. Maloney's got to hurry. Puts it up, and it goes off. So the Rockets with a chance to get the score. But Rudy Tomjanovich, as you mentioned, with very little offensive continuity. Karl Malone had 11. Olajuwon 10, the leading scorers. And at the end of the first half here at the Delta Center, the Jazz lead the Rockets by a score of 48-42.
At Pennzoil, we know brutal driving doesn't just take place on a racetrack. It begins at the end of your driveway. You stop, you go. You stop, you go. If this reminds you of your commute, we recommend you use Pennzoil motor oil. Pennzoil, formulated for today's stop-and-go driving.
Morning, Bob. Morning, Henry.
Stop, go, Pennzoil.
People have asked us, what makes a great steak sandwich? Well, it all starts right here, in America's heartland, where everyone knows it's all in how you slice the beef. Thin, real thin. Hardee's new tender steak sandwiches, sliced thin to be tender and juicy. There's the Philly steak, the deluxe, and even a steak and egg breakfast sandwich. Hardee's tender steak sandwiches. What will they think of next?
I can't get out there and run that race for you. You've got to do it, Rick. You've got to do it. There, Randy, this guy never complains. Does he make any excuses?
I had trouble breathing and I started coughing.
Does he let any obstacles get in his way?
Some of the guys on the other team, they just started hitting me and my foot started hurting.
Randy, what does he keep doing?
Keeps moving.
He keeps going and going, doesn't he? No hesitation.
Just be the bunny.
Be the bunny. Yeah, that's it, guys.
Challenge me. Doubt me. Disrespect me. Tell me I'm older. Tell me I'm slower. Tell me I can no longer fly. I want you to.
There you go, baby.
That game one floor burn bothering Karl Malone, it would appear. He does have 11 points in the first half, and Utah's on top of Houston 48-42 as they are at the break. In Atlanta, it's time for the Nike Halftime Report. Ernie Johnson joined by Reggie Theus and by the head coach of the Phoenix Suns, Danny Ainge. In our pregame show, we talked about Charles Barkley. He likes to pace himself, but 3 points in the first half. He needs to pick this up, doesn't he, Danny?
Yeah, they need more offense out of Charles. And, you know, they are double-teaming Charles on occasion, and he is the third option a lot of times, but they really need to find a way to get him involved. He needs to get to the offensive boards and make them pay. Every time that they miss those outside shots, Houston has to find a way to get the glass.
How about the defensive end, though, on Houston?
Yeah, their defense is not playing with great intensity either. You know, we saw great intensity in Miami in the first half and Chicago in the second half last night in their game, and you don't see it. I see Houston not playing with as much urgency, particularly after Stockton got those 2 fouls on Barkley.
Yeah, that's a great indication of in game one, the second unit comes in and gets a 12-2 run. In game two, the same thing has happened. Also, the rebounding has been atrocious, 39-16. Right here, you see Karl Malone taking a long jumper. All kinds of Houston players down below. Nobody puts a box out on Brian Russell automatic. Again, look in the middle of the key. You got players, you got Barkley on one side. Seems like he's got the block out, but doesn't even begin to get off the floor. Again, Foster from the corner, just getting it all over the floor.
John Stockton for the Utah Jazz did not have a triple-double in the regular season. He's got 10 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists in the first half. Utah on top 48-42. Now, when the Eastern Conference Finals resume tomorrow night, you're going to see it here on TNT. We'll hit the air at 8 with a half-hour pregame, and then it's Game 2 between the Bulls and the Heat. And on Friday, we wrap up our playoff coverage with Game 3 between the Jazz and the Rockets. Join us at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. When the Nike Halftime Report continues, it was the story of Miami's second half in Chicago. Nothing would fall, except the Heat. You'll hear from Tim Hardaway when we come back.
Housekeeping. Excuse me. Checking out?
Uh-huh.
We'll change the room.
Holiday Inn hotels are undergoing a billion-dollar renovation to make every Holiday Inn as good as the best Holiday Inn.
Oh, you're back. Your toothbrush.
That means we're changing a lot more than the sheets. Holiday Inn, on the way.
Now there's an easier way to buy mutual funds, a place that offers investors funds from Fidelity and 300 other fund families, and the convenience of consolidating your funds on one statement, plus the ease of managing them with one phone call. That's why hundreds of thousands of people are consolidating their investments using Fidelity's Funds Network. To switch to Funds Network, call 1-800-FIDELITY and receive a free list of highly rated funds.
Oh, hello. I would like to exchange this, please.
Okay, reason, sir?
Well, it's just too plain.
This happens a lot.
Oh, a Nestle Crunch? Oh, now that's more like it. You know...
Yeah, next?
Okay.
Nestle Crunch. It's just more fun to munch.
I believe in the power of the beer vendor. That one man with one beer born in the Rockies can refresh thousands. I believe in the perfect pour. Frost Brewing. Cold beer, warm heart. I believe that the three most important words on earth are hay, beer, man. That if a vendor can't get you your Coors Light at its ultimate refreshment level, it's a darn shame. And I believe in comfortable shoes.
Summer savings start at Sears. All paints 15 to 50% off. All brands, exterior and interior, like Weather Beater or Easy Living Flat, your choice, $8.88. Get primed for savings before summer starts. Get to Sears this weekend and save.
Utah Jazz with a 48-42 lead over the Houston Rockets. Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. The Nike Halftime Report rolls on. In Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, the Bulls came up with the perfect remedy for 36% shooting, and that was a stifling defensive effort in the second half, as Chicago came from 11 down at the break to beat the Heat by 7.
First of all, we only had 22 shots at the basket in the second half. We didn't execute on the offensive end at all. They got us sideways, and we always talk about this at the end. You know, if we're doing well, or if we it's tied up, something like that. In the third quarter, we say, you know, they're going to come out tough. They're going to come out aggressive on defense and aggressive on offense. Let's not get people not let them get us sideways on the offensive end. And we always come out flat.
You take a look at another factor in this. Talk about flat shooting from the free throw stripe. 72%, which doesn't knock anybody's Nikes off in the regular season. 68% in the playoffs and 50% in Game 1 against Chicago. 15 out of 30. What was more indicative of the way this series is going to be played, the first half or the second half of that game last night, guys?
I think the second half. I think the Chicago Bulls are going to always come out and give that type of effort. 22 shots in the second half, that's amazing. The thing that really sticks in my mind is the fact that Miami missed a great opportunity, just like Atlanta did. Remember, they had that chance and didn't get it. They came back and played well. When they're playing against the Bulls, you have to take advantage of your opportunity.
Yeah, they came close and did win Game 2 and went back to Atlanta and lost the next two. Your take on what lies ahead in that series?
Well, you know, I think Miami has to try to find a way to score again against the Chicago pressure. Chicago, I don't think they're going to play that kind of pressure for 48 minutes. But when they need to, they will.
Yeah, that's the great thing about it.
And finding a way to score is going to be the problem for them.
Game 2 tomorrow night, right here, 8 o'clock, TNT. Back to put the wraps on the Nike Halftime Report in just a minute. John Stockton could have his first career triple-double. He's got 10 points. 8 rebounds, and there's one of the 6 assists to Brian Russell. We're back in a minute.
Looking for a smart way to earn up to $40,000 for college? Call 1-800-USA-ARMY and ask how to qualify for the Montgomery GI Bill, plus the Army College Fund. Now, $40,000 for college. If your parents can't afford $40,000 for college, ask your uncle. The Montgomery GI Bill plus the Army College Fund. Now $40,000 for college. Call your recruiter to find out how to qualify.
Looking for something different for lunch? Well, look no further. Introducing Wendy's fresh stuffed pitas. Warm, soft pitas overflowing with marinated chicken, fresh vegetables, and delicious dressing. So, what do you think?
I think your search is over.
Too bad about that headache, hun. I guess we're staying home.
Headache's gone, sweetie.
But you were really hurting.
Took some Tylenol. Extra strength. All gone.
No way.
Just a memory now.
Tylenol did that?
For headaches, Tylenol is recommended the most by doctors.
You are gonna love the ballet.
Bring the Tylenol.
Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Go for the gold. The new Rebel G. Get the ultimate rush.
In Denton, Texas, a lot of folks who work on their cars go to AutoZone because they know they're going to find quality parts, low prices, great selection, and good people like Tom Robinson. You see, Tom's the kind of guy who really likes to help folks out. And since he's been around cars most all his life, he knows his parts, too. Oh, sure, there are other parts stores in town. But when it comes to getting the right part, the right price, and good advice from folks like Tom, there's just no place better than AutoZone.
And welcome back. Danny and Reggie and I, of course, grew up watching the original. Now your kids can do the same. Kung Fu, The Legend Continues. Weeknight, 7 o'clock Eastern, here on TNT. It was almost a year ago to the day that Danny Ainge made his last TNT appearance as a vicious hailstorm hit our studio. And we barely had enough electricity to carry on. Let me take you back to last May. It was at that time that Danny's knack for creativity and his survival skills took over. And he left us with this lasting image.
You got to be able to improvise.
That was the key. What a memorable moment from your broadcasting career, was it not?
Absolutely. I had a lot of great memories.
Is that what forced you into coaching almost?
Yeah, I don't know how long that coaching's going to last. So.
Hey, it was great to have you with us the last couple of
days. It's been great. I've enjoyed it.
See, you need that light to find your golf swing now.
There you go again. The hex continues. That's the Nike halftime report. There's the score. Give me the door.
Oh, I didn't get to do it.
Just what you need, a flat. Get new Prestone Tire Jack, the premium sealer and inflator that passes the Prestone 7 nail test. It's the only one with the AcroSeal system. New Prestone Tire Jack, protection that's tough as nails.
There's this college team I practice with. Each one is out to prove that they can hit the Rhine Express. After a day of fastballs, it's Advil for me.
On tough pain, 2 Advil work better than any 2 Tylenol.
I love that sound.
Advil just works better.
Every day, Sun Microsystems touches the lives of hundreds of millions of people. Sun systems serve as the backbone of the internet, connecting school children around the world, bringing internet commerce to the smallest shops in China, and providing the intranet solutions that are driving big business into the future. No matter where or how you're using the internet, you're using Sun. Since the network is the computer has to be Sun.
He's the same peaceful warrior you remember.
Courageous fighter, shuns violence.
Now he's teaching modern crime and ancient lessons.
There's not enough trouble here without causing more.
But to survive on these main streets, he'll need his son, who's not so peaceful.
Gentlemen don't know what you're dealing with, do you?
Kick It with David Carradine and Kung Fu, The Legend Continues. Weeknights at 7 on TNT.
This thing bled acid. Gotta be a way to go.
Exploded from inside.
I'm going in.
Found it.
We have to go on. Still with us, Chris.
Get out of there! What the hell are you doing?
They heard a voice from another world. They never should have listened.
You have my sympathy.
In space, no one can hear you scream. Make first contact with Sigourney Weaver in the movie that launched 1,000,000 nightmares. Alien, Sunday, June 1st at 8. The new classics are on TNT.
Welcome back to the Delta Center here in Salt Lake City. The Utah Jazz leading the Houston Rockets by a score of 48-42. Both teams not shooting the ball well by any stretch of the imagination. Both under 40%. Big story, the Jazz with an 11 offensive rebound edge over the Rockets and an 11 rebound edge overall over the Utah Jazz. And you look at all the things that count, Hubie. You look at the fact that Barkley, Drexler aren't getting the job done. The rest of the starters after Olajuwon. Same story the Rockets faced in game 1. And then you look at the scoreboard, only a 6-point deficit.
Well, you look at it this way. Olajuwon has 10 points. The other 4 starters are 6 for 20. Once again, 30%. Then you look at the other end of the field, and you see Stockton and Hornacek with 12 rebounds. Now, listen to this stat. This is staggering. Olajuwon, 0. Ellie, 0. Barkley, 5. Their front court has 5 rebounds, and Stockton and Hornacek have 12 rebounds. I would never believe it.
I would have to say that, well, how come the Utah Jazz don't have a double-digit lead now?
Well, because they're shooting so poorly. We're talking Utah Jazz, the #1 shooting team in the league at 50%, is struggling. They're shooting in the low 30s. And we're saying 30, no, not low, but 37%. They cannot make an open shot. So both teams are playing ragged. You're only down 6 if you're Houston. Please take care of your defensive board. All right, and then get some offensive rebounds and not allow them to get out in transition. It's not insurmountable. It's an easy thing to correct.
And of course, what Hakeem Olajuwon must be saying is that will somebody somewhere help me? To 30 points in game 1 with those impressive numbers. He has 10 points on 4 for 9 shooting. Is only going to the line 3 times, but no rebounds for Hakeem Olajuwon. An amazing story about the rebounding. Right now, let's go to Brian Burwell.
Dick, that's exactly what was being discussed in the Houston locker room. Rudy T said, no offensive rebounds. No offensive rebounds. And he repeated that. So, I mean, when you look at that stat sheet, it's glaring. Now, over with Utah, Jerry Sloan was concerned that his guys were trying to blow them out, and they weren't being patient. He said, calm down, and let's try to take this thing. If there's a good shot, take it, but let's not rush things. Back to you at courtside.
All right, Brian, thank you very much. And, of course, Hubie mentioned the Utah Jazz not shooting well. They only shot 44% in game 1, and not shooting as well in this game, shooting 38%. And here's a team that led the NBA, shooting 50% in the regular season. Looking at the Jazz big 3 of Malone, Stockton, and Hornacek, and they've got 4 impressive numbers.
The reason why this is so staggering, I know if you're out there, you're probably saying, geez, will you guys get off of this offensive, defensive rebound? Now, let me tell you, Houston finished 82 games this year as the #1 defensive rebounding team in this league. That's why this stat in game 1 and again tonight is so overwhelming that it's so hard to believe that with Olajuwon and Barkley and Kevin Willis and their roadrunner guys, that they are being out-rebounded by 23 rebounds at halftime.
And obviously, you can't hammer it enough because that's what Rudy T told his team, according to Brian Burwell, in the halftime intermission. There's a clock problem, and that is why we have a delay. And if the clock is above the basket to our left right now, and while we have a moment, we'll show you the scoring leaders, starting with the Rockets, and Hakeem leading the way with 10 points. And keep in mind that he did not score in the second quarter. All of his points came in the first. Mario Ellie has 8, including a 3, and Clyde Drexler has a 3 as well. For the Utah Jazz, they have 2 players in double figures, and they're going to get 4 before it's all over for sure. Karl Malone with 11, John Stockton 10, and Brian Russell 9, and Hornacek 8. Good balance there. Morris gave him some points off the bench, as did Antoine Carr. After our game tonight, whenever that ends, once they fix the clock, inside the NBA. And tomorrow night, coverage begins at 8 o'clock for Game 2 between the Miami Heat and the Chicago Bulls. Bulls lead 1-0, of course, in that series, although they were down by 16 at one point. And Hubie and I will be at the Summit in Houston Friday night. Coverage beginning at 8 o'clock for Game 3 when the scene changes. The Jazz go against the Rockets. The teams split the regular season 2-2, with each team winning 1 on the other team's home floor. Karl Malone, of course, we've been talking about the big matchup with Charles Barkley. It was all Malone in game 1. Here's what the mailman said about the matchup with Sir Charles.
I know I have to give it 100% because he is.
And we play the same position, and they already make comparisons about this and that right now in the head-to-head matchup. But when that horn blows, we're going to come at each other. We're going to come at each other for as long as we can see each other. And that's the nature of the business. And I don't dislike Charles. He don't dislike me. But when we play, you might think we do. And that's just how we're going to play the game, and that's it.
And here are their numbers so far after 2 quarters.
Well, the big fact there is look at the field goal attempts by Barkley, only 3, and then the rebounding 5. Malone dominant with the points, but he's struggling with his shot. He's only 4 for 13, but he's doing his job in the rebounding. And yet, Dick, we always say at playoff time that the coaching staffs are under a lot of pressure to get their 3 key offensive shooters high percentage shots in their best areas. And we are seeing tonight both teams are struggling with that. Now you can say, well, that's because of great defense, but that's why the pressure is on the coaching staffs to make sure that they become creative, innovative, and get their guys high percentage shots.
You know, we can't say more about Malone and Barkley. Of course, neither one of them has won an NBA title. And, of course, Malone has never even gotten to the NBA Finals, and that would be an achievement if they were to win this series. And they are members of an exclusive club in history, the 20,000 point, 10,000 rebound club. But look at the people who have been in this club and look at the Houston connection.
Well, at the top, naturally, Wilt Kareem, Bob Pettit, Elgin Baylor, Robert Parrish, Walt Bellamy, Karl Malone, and then the guys who have played in Houston, which is kind of interesting. Moses Malone, Elvin Hayes, Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley. Now we take it a step further, and you say the 25,000 point and 10,000 rebound. Well, there are only 5 guys in the history of the NBA who have done that. 25,000 points, 10,000 rebounds. That is Kareem, Wilt Chamberlain, Moses Malone, Elvin Hayes, and Karl Malone. Not bad.
Not bad at all. All right, we're going to take a break right now as they endeavor to fix the clock above one of the baskets. We have yet to begin the 3rd quarter, but we will.
The NBA playoffs on TNT, brought to you by the new Dodge. From cars to minivans to trucks, it's about change. The new Dodge. And by Fila, change the game.
A few years ago, Dodge took a gamble on a new pickup that changed all the rules. It paid off because Dodge Ram just won Strategic Vision's Total Quality Award for the 3rd straight year. And in its very first year, a redesigned Dodge Dakota won the Total Quality Award in its segment too. If you'd like to see why, see your Dodge dealer and take a spin.
Mom, you gotta get me out of here. This is not a nice place. Picking up bad habits, Mom. They're making me do bad things. Will you blood out of my face? They're even trying to change the way I look. They can't get any worse than this. I said you got the wrong number, chump. Oh, Granty. Meet George, your new personal trainer. Nice to meet you. Not nice. Not nice. That's right. Not nice.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing? Okay, our book club is in session. First up, Max's dad wants to join our club. Hello.
Let's give him the test.
Name Max's favorite book. Billy and the Robot. What's the robot super word?
Bazamo. He's good.
Last question. Reading is fundamental. All in favor? Aye. Right. Congratulations. Thank you.
Well, they're still working on the clock, and, you know, Brian Burwell hustles so well for us. But, Brian, how come you didn't go up the ladder with the fellow fixing the clock and really get a first-hand look?
It's not in my contract. I don't do glass. I was just talking with lead official Ed Rush, and he said that if that clock isn't ready in a few seconds, by the time they get these portable clocks up, they're going with the portable clocks. And right now, that other clock is working good, so they're just going to try to get this game started. Now, an update on Karl Malone. Karl will not admit that it's affecting his shooting, but he did say, my hand is hurting like heck. So, and you know, when you're here in Utah, that's as strong as you're gonna get with Carl. And that's it for right now. Back to you guys.
Notice that Karl Malone and Charles Barkley talking, and we just heard the soundbite from Karl Malone saying that we don't dislike each other, and it's obvious there. They know that this is playoff competition, and both guys want the same trophy. And the Chicago Bulls have it right now. And we've got a full half remaining with the Jazz leading 48-42. If you joined us late, they're putting in the final screws. I don't know if they fixed the clock because it still has the zeros on the front. The other clock is all set with a 24-second showing. But as Brian Burwell reported, they're going to go sooner or later. And the fellow's coming down off the rafters right now. Hope he... no one's spotting for him. You know, if this were gymnastics, he'd have someone spotting coming off the high bar, huh?
I'm kind of surprised that they do not have a portable clock on the baseline like the old days that they used to have them in the corners. Then when, you know, we went to the shot clock above the basket, that's fine. But, you know, we have seen this happen in a lot of arenas, and you just put a portable down on the corner. There it is right there. Now let's hope that that works.
You weren't concerned with that fella coming down without someone protecting him.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a playoff game. You hate it when the public address system goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right.
And they're going to go with the 1 clock. They took the portables away, and they will call out 10 seconds and 5 seconds remaining. So you remember those days.
Yeah, you sure do. And you know what? It's at the Houston basket. So, I mean, at the Utah Jazz basket. So that's fine.
All right, underway. Matt Maloney with Clyde Drexler, Hakeem Olajuwon, Charles Barkley, and Mario Elie. Here is Olajuwon. Did not score in the second quarter, but scores to start the third, and it's a 4-point Utah lead. Jazz with Stockton, along with Hornacek, Brian Russell, Ostertag, and Karl Malone up front. Here is Stockton off the screen. Maloney staying with him. Here is Ostertag. Off balance, blocked by Olajuwon, and it's out of bounds. It'll be Houston ball. That's the third blocked shot by Hakeem. Jerry Sloan, never a losing year, playoffs in all of the 9 years as head coach of the Jazz. Drexler measuring Brian Russell. 8 on the shot clock, and Olajuwon. This is from outside, so the Rockets forced to take an outside shot. Russell looking low to Malone. Turnaround over Barkley. He's 6'9", and Barkley 6'4", and has a good look.
Anytime that he wants to throw the fadeaway, it's impossible for Charles, first of all, to even get up and put the pressure because he shoots it from such an angle. No way that Charles can really affect it.
Here's the double on Barkley, and here's Mario Elie. The Jazz doing a very good job of rotating against the double thus far. Olajuwon knocked away, and it'll be Houston's ball with 6 seconds on the shot clock.
Yeah, Stockton, Hornacek, and Russell do a terrific job being pesty, and that means they get down inside, they double, and then they rotate from different angles, and they change up the rotations.
Elie off balance, trying to draw the foul, and he did just that. Jeff Hornacek with his third personal foul, and he's the first player to pick up 3 in the game.
Well, Mario Elie has been active from an offensive standpoint. You can see Hornacek gets him here. During the course of the year, Elie just had a fantastic year shooting on the foul line. He was 5th in the league at 89%, and then he was 9th in threes, where he shot 42%.
84% of the playoffs from the line. And he is 5 for 6 from the stripe in this game. And the Jazz lead again is 4 points. They led by 6 at the half and 2 after 1 quarter. But at one time, Utah had an 11-point lead in the second period. Stockton finds an open from Brian Russell, and a long rebound on the missed 3.
Houston did a nice job that time in their rotations. They brought the wingman from the other side of the floor to cover Stockton at the top of the circle.
Here's Barkley, and the double comes fast. And here is Drexler going to the hoop. Blocked by Ostertag. Elie gets the rebound. Olajuwon open. And the rebound by Barkley. He gets another chance and a foul. Well, that is the first time tonight we have seen persistent offensive rebounding by the Rockets.
They just had 3. They only had 3 in the entire first half. So that was nice to see, very encouraging. You know, you can see it right here. Ostertag is averaging over 3.5 blocks in the playoffs. Here he comes. Long arms, and he anticipates well.
John Stockton called for his second personal foul. Charles Barkley, 34 years old, offered no excuses. A lot of people said that the fatigue of playing the 7-game series. Barkley dismissed that. He says, we played bad, and I was the leader of the pack. A little more than 2 minutes gone by. Barkley converts 1. And the lead for the Jazz is 3, 50-47. Now remember, the shot clock is off on this end. Hornacek puts it up and is fouled by Ellie. That'll be a 2-shot foul. It was right at the arc. So 2 shots coming up for Jeff Hornacek.
That was a very pretty play. They ran what we call a nice cut on the left side of the floor. And then when you thought that they were screening across the lane to set up Malone in the post, they ran a blind pick opposite the foul line on the opposite for Hornacek. It was beautiful.
Hornacek, 6 years with the Phoenix Suns, traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for Charles Barkley. And now going against Sir Charles here in the Western Conference Finals. And Hornacek's got them both, and a 5-point Utah lead.
If you're a guard with Utah, you have to sacrifice your body because you're on so many screens, and then they ask you to also rebound.
Ball knocked away, last touch by the Jazz. 13 on the shot clock for the Rockets. Their leading scorer, Olajuwon with 12. Mario Ellie has 10.
Plenty of time here.
Here's Barkley, and again Stockton doubling down, and Maloney did not have anyone to go with, and here come the Jazz, and Brian Russell beating Drexler to the basket. No basket. Traveling is the call against Brian Russell. And it looked too easy for him.
No, it was a very difficult catch. It was a difficult catch for Russell, and he lost his balance. You gotta see, the ball is too high for him right here. See, he tried to get it there, and it's a 1, 2, 3. See, and that you cannot do. You get a 1-2 count.
Hakeem, single covered by Ostertag. Here's Ellie. Good ball movement by the Rockets, but Ellie can't convert for 3. And the Jazz coming back up by 5. And Stockton going strong to the basket. And will go to the line. Very nearly had a chance for a 3-point play as he's fouled by Maloney.
In this series, John Stockton in the open floor challenges Maloney every time in transition. He will get it. He'll level off. He'll take a look. No one is open. He will just continue in the transition and attack the basket.
John Stockton has never had a triple-double in his NBA career, either in the regular season or the playoffs, and Ernie Johnson alluded to it during the halftime. He now has 11 points. He has 8 rebounds and 6 assists. So you know he's going to get the assists. So he could be on his way to his first. 2 free throws, and the Jazz lead by 7. And the Rockets having to play from a deficit as they did throughout virtually the entire game 1 on Monday. Barkley setting the screen, but Brian Russell stays with Drexler, who makes a fine move to the hoop.
Well, there was a lot of nice continuity movement there. It ended up in a screen and roll with Barkley. Anytime Drexler gets a step on you coming off, he can score in this series.
7 points for Clyde, and Stockton driving. Ostertag comes in and fouled. Ostertag will go to the line, and Hakeem Olajuwon picking up his 3rd personal foul.
Now keep an eye right here on the screen and roll. Watch at the top of your screen. As soon as Drexler comes over the top, if he gets a half a step, he has such excitement and explosiveness he can finish. Right here, keep an eye to the right of the screen. Here comes Ostertag, and then Hakeem just did not elevate. He tried to bump him out.
First free throws of the game for Ostertag, believe it or not, as Hakeem stays in the game with 3 fouls. Greg Ostertag, over 7 feet tall, has attempted only 7 free throws in the entire playoff.
Well, he's not involved in any of the offensive sets, so he has to get everything on the offensive board or moving without the ball. But during the year, Dick, 7 points, 7 rebounds, 2 block shots a game, and he is a presence in the lane.
No question about that. Drexler on screen and roll to Barkley, who gets the basket. And the Rockets trail by 5. Nearly 4 minutes gone by here in the 3rd quarter.
It's nice to see them now. They're showing you more of their repertoire offensively other than just power basketball.
Stockton looking inside. 10 seconds as the announcement has to come from the public address system because the clock is out. And that in, Karl Malone with a turnaround now with 15 points to go along with 11 rebounds. Remember, he had 21 points, and a lot of people expected Malone to score more than that in this game. Here is Olajuwon against Ostertag, and Hakeem now with 14. So Olajuwon, Barkley, and Drexler getting more into the scoring here in the 3rd quarter.
Well, it's nice to see because they're showing you more opportunities, more continuity, more ball movement.
And Malone fouled in the lane. Karl Malone asserting himself offensively, and the foul is against Barkley. He picks up his 3rd.
Now keep an eye on Barkley setting the screen. Drexler sees the defense. Nice drop-off pass, and then sheer upper body strength. Charles Barkley muscling that in. Now this is Malone right here. See this right in this series. Malone shooting over Barkley. He can get it anytime he wants. And it's a lot like in the Chicago series. Anytime that Michael Jordan posts up in a triangle, you know, they get it off before the double team, and because they have a height advantage on the guy playing them, and they throw that fade away, there is nothing you can do about it. Now it's up to them whether they make the shot or miss the shot.
And of course, Barkley has a disadvantage shooting at his end because of the height disadvantage, and of course, he has waited a lot for the double team to come, so he has passed the ball out. Malone making 1 free throw, has 16 points in the game, and the Jazz are up by 6. This is game 2, best of 7. The Jazz won game 1, 101-86. Drexler for 3, and he's got it. So Drexler, Barkley, and Olajuwon certainly coming up bigger here in the 2nd half. Drexler in double figures, 2 from downtown.
Anytime you pass out of the double team, you try to make 2 passes. 1 pass against bad defenses, you're open. But when you play good defensive teams, the 2nd pass will open up the shot.
And a timeout called by Jerry Sloan as the Jazz lead is cut to 3.
Today, people who didn't send the money, Western Union, and the heartbreak it caused. So what happened?
My Aunt Leona called. She was throwing a party and she sprung a leak.
She did?
Well, her tub did. And I told Mercury here to send money.
I did.
But not Western Union.
Her aunt sprung a leak and you didn't use Western Union.
No, and it took forever.
And what does Aunt Leona have to say?
Hey, it's your money. Use Western Union, the fastest way to send money worldwide.
You know what really burns my bacon? Joe Bubriggs. What really ticks me off is when they kill off the monster, then they have another scene where they talk about how they killed the monster. Listen to me. When the monster is dead, the movie is over. As the great Dino De Laurentiis once said, when monkey die, everybody cry. Tune into TNT Friday nights and I'll show you what I'm talking about. Monster Vision, we call it. When we kill those suckers off, we roll credits. End of conversation.
I hope you're in trouble.
Oh, I am.
What kind of trouble?
I can't get Turner Classic Movies.
Well, why don't you call your local cable operator?
I have. But they still don't carry it.
Well, keep calling. It's worth the wait.
Do you have it?
Sister, I don't even have a radio.
And enthusiastic fans of all ages here at the Delta Center. Wilford Brimley, a Jazz fan in the stands, and they're trying to hope that this team gets to the NBA Finals for the first time. Mark Eaton, who is a big force in another era.
One of the greatest defensive centers we've ever had in the game. Right up there in shot blocking with the best who have ever played.
Houston's big three. You saw Bill Cartwright scouting for the Chicago Bulls. John Stockton hits the jumper. So following the timeout, Stockton now with 14 points. He and Malone combined for 30 of the Jazz 61.
Nice.
Tipped away by Malone, and it's last touched by the Jazz.
That was an attempted screen across the lane for Barkley, and instead of coming to the ball, Barkley changed direction. They almost made a pinpoint pass.
The Rockets' big three of Olajuwon, Drexler, and Barkley have scored 12 of their 14 points here in this third quarter. And now they had 2 more for Hakeem, who has 16 points. So Hakeem, who had 30 in game 1, brings the Rockets to within.
Well, you know, their fans have been waiting for this. They've been waiting for the explosion.
And they have awakened in the second half of game 2. Here is Hornacek, unable to shoot over Ellie. Ellie, a very fine defender. There was the 10 seconds, and Hornacek going inside the feed. Ostertag travels. Greg Ostertag, and again, 7-2, and Jerry Sloan appealing to Ed Rush.
Now, Jerry Sloan is challenging the travel call. Now, keep an eye on him right there. Now, he misses that one, and that was a loose ball, and I agree with Jerry Sloan. You know, they all want to travel, but he went up. Right, the ball hit the backboard and the rim, part of the rim, so you can't say that he went up and came down with the ball.
Under 6 minutes to go in the third. Olajuwon misses a very difficult turnaround. Looking for the foul. None called. Here is Stockton. Goes low to Malone. Malone goes up and gets the basket. And now Malone's complaining. You're right. Everyone is claiming their foul. You know what? I think I'm getting fouled.
Yeah, but in the NBA at playoff time, there are 10 fouls on every play. Come on, the referees have got to decide what's the foul tonight.
Gets a little tighter. 10 on the shot clock for Drexler. Up and under. Oh, goaltending called against Ostertag. And give the basket to Clyde Drexler, who has 7 of his 12 here in the third.
Now, the people in the building are all upset, but that ball hit the backboard. That's the reason why the call was made. And you cannot take the ball as it ricochets off the board. That was a bad percentage shot by Drexler, and Ostertag never should have even attempted it. That ball had no prayer of going in.
So it's a 3-point game again. The Jazz lead. 10 on the shot clock. John Stockton looking up and seeing no 24-second clock, but he heard it from the PA announcer. Jeff Hornacek with his first from downtown. He was 1 for 3 from that range, and it's 66-60.
See, the test right now for Houston from now to the end of the game is the rotations. You cannot allow fatigue to enter in here.
And Drexler hits the long-range basket, so 3 for Drexler. That is his 3rd of the game. Randy Livingston cheering on his teammates, and the Jazz lead down to 3. Ellie on Hornacek, feeding Stockton, who makes a great move, beating Maloney to the basket.
Yeah, that was 3-man basketball. That's that UCLA cut. Pass to the wing. Cut off that high post back screen. Once again, Stockton runs it beautifully. He got inside of Maloney.
And here is Ellie trying to go to Barkley on a blind pass picked off by Hornacek. And the Jazz up by 5.
Hornacek's everywhere, Dick. He's made some great defensive plays.
Here's Ostertag. Oh, and he misses a stop.
Hold on, Jackie Neese right now blew the whistle, and it's going to be interesting what the call is. Offensive interference, okay.
And it was on Ostertag.
Yeah, now just keep an eye. This is a nice pass right into Stockton coming off that UCLA back screen. Ostertag has got to score. I mean,
he's his own worst enemy.
You got to send these down with some strength. You're 0 for 5, and no shot is outside of 3 feet.
Call your cable operator today and ask about CNN-SI, the sports news network.
Can this simple structure make a car more fun? Well, if you work at it. The cross members in the undercarriage of a Dodge Stratus make the rails stiffer, which make the frame stronger, which make the ride better, and make the car more fun to drive. You can be sure we've been working on the rail all the livelong day. Dodge Stratus. Now get 3.9% financing for 60 months or cash back.
I just saw this previous movie, and it was about this alien, and it came down to Earth, and its heart was like getting red, and then they're on this bike adventure, and then they're flying through the sky. He cuts his finger and goes, ow! And then E.T., he lights his finger on, and then he tries to help E.T. go back to his home, and then.
The movies you know by heart. The new classics on TNT.
Attention. Radar!
Yes, sir.
Whoever said that war is hell never spent any time at the MASH 4077. They were army surgeons with martinis in one hand and sutures in the other.
And Dr. Jekyll, actually. This is my friend, Mr. Hyde.
Go nuts for the movie that launched a television hit series. MASH, Tuesday at 8 p.m. The new classics are on TNT.
I would like to show you the UCLA cut. Now keep an eye on Stockton with the ball. He's going to pass the ball to Hornacek stepping out. This is three-man basketball. Now you see the back screen. Now, why is Stockton cutting that way? Because Maloney is giving him that side. He can cut either side off of this back screen. Now just watch the cut. Now, Hornacek gets this bullet right in there because Maloney is trailing. Olajuwon gave no help at all. Now, in that cut, you can lay off of Ostertag, help out the guard, and put the pressure on Ostertag if they go back to the top to make that shot.
Howard Isley replaces John Stockton, who goes out with 16 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. And I'm glad you explained the UCLA cut because I would have had to go to your next clinic if you hadn't done that in this game.
Now, mainly because they use it about 15 times a game.
Mario Ellie, nice job. It was Ostertag who got a piece, Barkley, and it is a basket, I believe. It counts.
Counts. Good play. Nice play and a strong move by Barkley. Now keep an eye on Ellie as he goes down inside here. Hornacek right up in there. There's your block. Just on the tips up. Now watch what happens. Ostertag is trying to clear out, and then Barkley picks it up. Now just watch, keep from the right of your screen. Look at that long reach. He gets a piece of it, and then Barkley just makes a nice move here. That is good, strong upper body strength.
Isley with a reach in. And Barkley now with 9 points. Well, the big three of the Rockets have scored 22 points this quarter after 18 in the entire first half, and it is a 2-point Utah lead.
No second shot attempts in this quarter for Utah.
That's a very good point.
Yeah, well, it's amazing.
Hornacek with a runner from the baseline. But don't think coming close means you're going to take the lead, not against this Utah team, because they know how to spread it out again.
Well, they shoot so well. And Hornacek and Stockton can make off-balance running shots.
Sedale Creed in the game as the backup point guard, matching Isley's replacement of John Stockton. And now the Jazz with a 4-point lead and the ball as we wind down to 3 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Here is Brian Russell, goes behind. Wide open is Isley, and he's got it. Howard Isley with his first bucket of the game.
See, you gotta like it. Isley comes in. He's a 44% shooter in threes during the playoffs, but he is not bashful.
Kevin Willis in the game with a hook. Malone getting the position over Charles Barkley. 13 rebounds for Karl Malone.
Come on, you got an advantage here. You got him because Barkley flopped.
Foster hitting from inside the arc. A 2-point basket for Drake Foster, and a timeout just when the Utah Jazz got threatened, or the Jazz turned it on.
Now, Barkley just flopped in the backcourt as he bumped into Russell. And by flopping, we're going to show it to you right here. Now, you see, you can't do this at playoff time. Just watch what happens as the ball is cleared. Keep an eye on Barkley. Now, just watch. See, he bumps it, so he falls down. Now, you say, oh, well, you didn't get it. You're on the road. You're not getting that call. That was a definite flop. And what happens? You're a man short up here. Your front court guys are at a disadvantage, and it opened up that corner shot for Boston.
Wait a second. Olajuwon said flopping is not part of the game. Did he not tell Charles this?
Well, I don't know if Charles read the Houston Chronicle. Now, if he read the Houston Chronicle, he would have heard about that.
It might not have flopped.
There you go.
7 straight points in the last minute by the Utah Jazz, and what was a 2-point game is now a 9-point Utah lead with 2:26 remaining in the third quarter. And the crowd very much in this game. Western Conference Finals. Jazz have never gotten there. Look out. And Drexler turned it over, lost it into the hands of Russell, who lays it in.
That never get that call. That charge by Ellie, excuse me, Dick, he was underneath the rim. You'll never get that call.
Barkley is fouled, and right now the Jazz, in a hurry, after the lead cut to 2, have matched their biggest lead of the game at 11.
Well, Drexler fumbles the ball right here. Quickness by Russell. He sees he has a 2-on-1, but he cannot make the pass. Now watch. See, you'll love that. That's taking it strong. High school and college, you probably would have gotten a charge call.
Next foul by either team will put them in the penalty. Here is Barkley working against Malone. And it's out of bounds, last touched by the Jazz as Malone giving Greg Foster a sub, and this team is roused right now.
Well, remember we said in game 1, Barkley was 3 for 10. He had difficulty shooting up over the top of Karl Malone, and the same thing again tonight.
Here is Drexler missing a 3, and a loose ball foul called, and a technical against Karl Malone.
Yeah, Jimmy Clark, he's had enough of Karl Malone. See, Karl has been complaining, you know, since we were in the warm-ups, okay? So he said, hey, okay, I fouled him because I was watching him. He said, I fouled him, but you got to give me the call on the play before that when Barkley knocked me down on the floor. And Clark just said, that's enough. Boom,
Malone is still jawing at Jimmy Clark. Picked up his second personal and the tee. Ellie makes the technical foul.
Now, right now this was... we had Foster and Malone helping out on that shot clock. Now, right there, you see Kevin Willis knock Karl Malone to the floor. That's what he was upset about. Barkley had inside, and Karl pushed him on that rebound. See, you can see right now, he said, I want that other call.
And Barkley misses the first free throw as the Jazz in the penalty right now. That was the first technical foul called on the Jazz in this young series. Barkley 3 of 6 from the free throw line. So he has struggled from there as well. He makes the free throw, and the lead is 9. The Jazz up with 1:41 remaining in the third quarter, trying to make it 2 in a row at home to start this Western Conference final. Howard Isley off a Malone screen hits. Isley with 5 points here in the third.
Isley reads the screen and rolls beautifully. He's not in a hurry. He takes his time, and if you go under, he steps back off that dribble, and he has a very soft shot.
Here's Barkley now working against Malone, and this rivalry heating up, and the block by Ostertag. And the block shot can really spark a team. Here is Foster going to the basket, lays it in, and the Utah bench again doing a number on the Houston Rockets. And the biggest lead of the game right now for Utah.
On one end, Foster blocks another shot. That's his second block in the last 2 minutes, and then he finishes.
Under a minute to go, 42 seconds to go, and the ball knocked away. Last touched by the Jazz, who have hit 11 of their last 12 shots.
Now watch Foster come right in here now. See, Foster and Ostertag are doing a terrific job. Now he goes right to the opposite corner, and he's got the ball and has himself a nice stride to the hole.
And the Rockets with a couple of layup opportunities lose it out of bounds. And this crowd is at a fevered pitch right now with a half a minute remaining in the third quarter. The Rockets got it down to a 2-point game. But right now the Jazz up by their biggest margin, 13 points. Howard Isley, and he's fouled driving to the hoop.
If you notice, once again, Isley just took his time, read the defense, and got himself a foul. Now here we're going to show you that same play. Foster gets to the block. He's happy. He runs down to the right-hand corner, and you're going to see he opens up. Now once he gets it, a nice head fake, and he's taking it strong to the basket.
And you're right. It was Foster at both ends of the floor. What a big contribution he has given the Jazz in this series so far. Right now, let's take a look at tonight's GMC scoreboard. Last evening, the Bulls took a 1-0 lead over the Heat. Game 2 tomorrow night on TNT. Coverage begins at 8 o'clock. And stay tuned for Inside the NBA coming up next.
Now you look at their bench again tonight, Vic. You hit the nail right on the head. Foster, Isley, Shandon Anderson. You know, once again, making heavy contributions.
22 points off the bench, Hubie.
Dick, their half-court defense in the last 5 minutes has been outstanding.
Final seconds of the third quarter. Barkley with a difficult turnaround. And time runs out. And listen to the hand by the Delta Center crowd. Three. The Jazz lead big, 83-68.
The best football player in America will not be seen on television this Sunday. Not while there's a Pro Bowlers tour. America did not see the best football player win a gold medal in Atlanta. America did not see the best football player win our only World Cup. Because all the networks agree the best football player in America isn't good for ratings.
It's about time and finding faster ways to take new ideas from drawing board to reality. It's about the search for methods to make machinery last longer or make a long drive seem shorter. It's about making time to look beyond the obvious. And most of all, about taking time to listen. All things change through time. Cars, trucks, and a company.
My father, both my brothers, my kids will probably have thinning hair. Losing my hair was probably one of the most traumatic experiences in my life. But the great thing about Rogaine is you can interrupt nature. You can stop it. And Rogaine is proven to work. It goes right to the root to grow hair. About 4 months later, my wife walked by and she just was, hey, wait a second, you're growing hair. And since then, I've stayed with Rogaine, and my hair's really filled in. Check this out. It's great. I'm a user for life.
This program is authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the National Basketball Association. Any publication, reproduction, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of the National Basketball Association is prohibited.
And welcome back to the 1997 NBA playoffs here on TNT. Here at the Delta Center, they're still on their feet as a big third quarter as the Jazz outscored the Rockets 35-26 to take an 83-68 lead as the Rockets missed its last 9 shots in the third quarter.
Well, you look at it, Dick, the Jazz shot 75% in the quarter. So for the game, Houston, 35%, Utah, 47%. The rebounds, Utah still dominating 49-23. That's a difference of 26 boards.
Still trying to work on the clock, which has been out in the second half. And the public address announcer has announced 10 seconds and 5 for the 24-second clock. It does not seem to affect the Utah Jazz at all in that third quarter.
No, mainly because they've been running in transition the entire quarter, Dick. And this is when they're at their best. You know, when you think of, there are only 3 teams in this league who won 60 games. You know, we have Chicago at 69, Utah at 64, and Miami at 61. Then you say, well, who are the best offense-defensive teams? Well, Chicago was first in the league with a differential of 10.9. Well, the second best differential team in this league was Utah at 8.8. That's a combination of your beautiful execution of your offense, 2 different styles, the triangle in Chicago, and many different types of sets here in Utah, but they both defend.
Malone, Stockton, and Hornacek in double figures. Malone has 13 rebounds and Stockton has 8. We referred to the guards rebounding. And as UB mentioned, physical guards take punishment setting those back screens. 14 rebounds between Stockton and Hornacek. Dick Stockton, Hubie Brown, Brian Burwell, our statistician Marty Aronoff here at the Delta Center waiting to get underway for the fourth quarter. And want to remind you that Inside the NBA will come right up after this game is over. And then tomorrow on TNT, our coverage begins at 8 o'clock. Game 2 between the Heat and the Bulls. And then Friday on TNT here, coverage begins at 8 o'clock for Game 3 as the scene shifts to the Summit in Houston as the Jazz and Rockets go to Game 3. And the Jazz well on their way at this point. The way they're playing, not so much the score, you can come back from that deficit, but the way they're playing indicates they may be headed for Houston with a 2-0 lead in the series. Let's go to Brian Burwell.
Okay, Dick, during that break, Karl Malone was applying a medicated pad to that sore area on his hand because it is getting very red and it does hurt him a lot. Back to you.
Well, he's got 18 points. Karl Malone does, 13 rebounds, and is playing another outstanding game.
Well, the team with the best road record in the West is Houston. They were 27-14, the best road record. You're not going to count them out. They're only down 15. You got 12 minutes to go. They've got good three-point shooters. Let's see if they can get it together at the defensive end.
John Stockton with his 18th point of the game. In fact, only the Lakers and the Celtics have a better road playoff record ever in the NBA than the Houston Rockets, so they know how to win away from home. But winning here is another story. Olajuwon with a turnaround, and Hakeem with 18. Olajuwon with 18 leads 4 double-figure scores for the Rockets. Malone with 18 leads 4 for the Jazz.
Now, the big thing right now, they got to start showing some defense.
Shandon Anderson fouled and hitting the floor hard. And will go to the line to shoot 2.
Now, on that post-up, Houston fronted, and Anderson just held his man. Look at it right here. A nice pass. Watch from the left of your screen. There's the rotator. Too late.
So Shandon Anderson, who was the 54th pick in the draft, and the younger brother of Willie Anderson, who's playing with the Miami Heat in the series with the Chicago Bulls, scored 11 points on 5 for 7 shooting in Game 1. Those are his numbers throughout the playoffs.
He makes things happen, Dick. He makes things happen. He's a garbage man. Gets all the loose ball. He plays the passing lanes. He's out on the break, and he can finish.
17-point lead. And Olajuwon going in.
Carr has something to say to Olajuwon, because Olajuwon popped him right in the face. And Carr is absolutely right. Now watch us. We're going to show it to you. Olajuwon staggers in here now into the lane. Now you could say, well, Carr's riding his back. Now watch what happens. He goes, bam.
Ooh, right hand.
Yeah, right in the face. Okay.
Right.
Yes, he did. Now keep an eye on it now.
Oh,
yeah, he caught him, see? And Carr has no doubt about it. You got to let him know about it.
Completed a minute here of the fourth quarter. Long uphill climb for the Houston Rockets. Clyde Drexler throws up the air ball on the 3.
The defense by Utah in the three-point shooting in games 1 and 2 has been terrific, Nick. Very seldom do they get a wide-open shot that you might see during the season. They are running at people, and they are forcing them to not get a clean look.
There's the three-point shooting thus far in this game. And Brian Russell misses a 3. Barkley the rebound.
Easy, Phil.
Sedale Threet with Ellie, Barkley, Drexler, and Olajuwon for the Houston Rockets. Here's Mario Ellie for 3.
In the series so far, Houston gets very few easy points. No second shots, no transition fast breaks. They're just not getting the ball out, and no quickness.
They're not making the threes when they double inside. 11 for 36 so far in the series for three-point range. John Stockton with another jumper, and he'll have that all night.
Well, we've been showing that to you in Game 1 and again tonight. You cannot continue to hug the defensive man who is playing the screener, because Stockton will be open every single time in the middle of the floor.
We'd like to remind you that whenever you make it a blockbuster night, you never need a babysitter. The parking is always free. The atmosphere is as casual as the dress code. and you always get the best seat in the house. With thousands of blockbuster videos to choose from, we'd like you to remember that when it comes to a great night with the family, there's no place like home. There's no place like home. Make it a blockbuster night.
The Sea-Doo XP. It's a head trip.
I think I had a shot for all occasions. I practiced hook shots, I practiced my finger roll, and I practiced jump shots. You know, the finger roll took it over. That was just a great shot for me. Just roll it over their fingertips, you know, and they think they got it, and it just roll over. Everybody can dunk, but everybody can't finger roll.
And here is tonight's Dutch boy in the paint, the Utah Jazz, dominating the offensive glass 15-9. And it's Karl Malone again with the edge over Charles Barkley, who's only 3 for 9 from the field. Doobie?
Well, we'd like to show you the screen in Royal. Now, just keep an eye on this right here. Foster is setting the screen to the right. Barkley is hugging Foster so that after Stockton goes past him, that he cannot spot up for an outside shot. Well, if that is so, watch what happens. The defender follows. Well, hold it right there. Now, if you hug Foster and you follow Stockton, John Stockton will be open all night long at that foul line, and he has been, and it's just like shooting ducks in a barrel for John Stockton.
Essence of this game, the Rockets cut the Jazz lead to 68-66 with 3:44 left in the third. Since then, Utah has outscored Houston by that number 21-4. And that is the game in a nutshell. Here is Olajuwon working inside, and the basket for Hakeem. Hakeem, again, not quite a one-man warrior, but 20 points doing it again tonight.
Yeah, he's getting it because he has a major mismatch, Dick. And if he just splits the double teams, he's always going to get a shot down in there.
Greg Foster posting up against Charles Barkley. And the turnover, the pass thrown behind Ellie, so it was no easy chance that time for Houston.
No, it doesn't matter. They're slow on the break. They just cannot seem to get anything easy.
Barkley with a tough layup. Charles with 12 points. And Drexler with 15. Both of them have awakened a little bit more in the third quarter than they did so far in the series.
Here's a back screen on Carr coming to a screen and roll.
Brian Russell at the top. Stockton makes the pass to Russell, and he can't save it. Stockton had a shot, instead tried to go to Russell.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised that he did that. Now watch Charles muscle this one in. He gets hit on this, but he just muscles it right in.
89-74, the Jazz in front. Here is Hakeem working against Antoine Carr. Tough shot that time, but it's batted out by Ellie. And a new clock for the Rockets. Maloney again going to Olajuwon. And an offensive foul, and a good one against Hakeem. That is 4 personals on Olajuwon.
And what happened there was Carr has been riding him in his back, and he feels it. All post guys want to know where the defense. Now watch Carr step back. See, first he took the contact off him. Hakeem then goes right into him right there. Definite offensive foul. Nice move. Nice defensive play by Antoine Carr.
Karl Malone at the top. He's got Russell, Carr, Stockton, and Shandon Anderson. And the missed shot, and the first rebound for Olajuwon. Believe it or not, Hakeem gets his first rebound after 4 minutes have gone in the fourth quarter. And a foul against Malone, holding, and Malone picks up his third.
See, Dick, the rebounding factor here is so staggering. When you say Hakeem Olajuwon just got his first rebound with 8 minutes to go in the game, Ellie has very few up front. Kevin Willis is limited, and Barkley does not have double-figure rebounds. They are being just demolished at both ends of the floor on the glass.
Here is Barkley with a baseline jumper and a foul. Charles Barkley. And the foul against Malone. He picks up 2 in a hurry. So Karl Malone now with 4 personal fouls.
Now this is just a nice strong move by Charles. He's in a little bit of a rhythm here offensively. As he steps in, he jumps back away from Malone. Gets the, well, you might call it a ticky-tack foul, except for one thing. He got hit right in front of the referee, so you know it's going to be called.
Jeff Hornacek checked in for the Utah Jazz. And Barkley with the 3-point play, and it's a 12-point Utah lead.
Once again, here they come. Let's see if they can sustain it.
7-0 run by the visiting Rockets. They've been a tough road club all year. Malone quickly goes up, and the foul inside.
That was a beautiful screen. John Stockton cut off the pick, went right down to the lane, came across the lane, and back screened Malone's man. And if you notice, Malone is catching the ball a step in front of the basket. And that's great, because then he has the defense right on his back.
Barkley has 4 fouls. Olajuwon has 4. And Karl Malone 4 of 6 from the free throw line.
Now keep an eye on this cut. John Stockton cuts down through. Now he goes across, sets the screen. Now see where Malone is? He's in the paint. See, don't go out of the lane when you know you have a major advantage on the defense. Stop shortly, keep the defense on your back.
The NBA's MVP, and the oldest at age 33, gets 1 free throw and has 19 points. Stockton with 20 leads the Jazz, who are up by 13 here in the 4th. Hornacek guarding Ellie. And here is Hakeem, and he is fouled. So no question as to what the Houston offensive strategy is, and Antoine Carr with his 3rd.
You know, I always like when you get a player like Hakeem who has so many moves. He can come into the lane, he can drop step, go baseline, he can throw the fadeaway. And people say, keep him out of the lane. I will stop him.
Yeah.
Like it's easy.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. He's 7 foot, he's made out of steel, and Antoine Carr is doing everything he can with his upper body strength, and Hakeem is tossing him aside like he's a feather.
Hakeem Olajuwon with 5 free throw attempts tonight, and as you saw, 1 rebound. His all-time playoff low is 4. And 90-78, 12-point lead. Stockton double team, and Malone shooting over Barkley, and again he can see very well over Charles Barkley. Malone now with 21.
You've been watching John Stockton closely. He's had a number of wide open shots, but he's moving the ball around to all of the other people.
Here's Clyde Drexler, and he is short on the 3-point attempt. Rebound into the hands of Stockton, who needs only 2 rebounds for his first career triple-double. Malone on the turnaround. Drexler clears. 6:44 on the clock here in the 4th quarter. The Jazz in front, 92-78. And Drexler misses. Houston squandering opportunities here. And
yeah, Jerry Sloan's calling a play. He told John, take it back out, high screen and roll. Malone and Stockton.
And Maloney stays with Stockton. Now they go inside baseline. Stockton with 5 seconds. Sandon Anderson misses. Antoine Carr follows. And look at Anderson. So right about his energy here.
Tonight, without a doubt, no exaggeration, Utah has missed 10 layups. Layups meaning shots within 3 feet of the basket.
12 on the shot clock. And a foul. 2-shot foul coming up. Against the Rockets, a timeout will be called right now.
Yeah, they're calling
the foul.
Yeah, they're calling this on Barkley. Now keep an eye on Stockton cutting across the lane right here. Now watch Barkley come across.
Flagrant foul.
Yeah, and he catches flagrant foul. Wow.
And 5 on Charles Barkley.
Once upon a time, there was a car that was elegant, spacious, and refined. In fact, it was protected by a warranty package that was one of the most comprehensive in the land. Introducing the 1997 Sonata. Is this a modern-day fairy tale? No. It's a whole new Hyundai.
I am a professional athlete. I was an All-American in college, but you wouldn't know because I didn't play basketball. I was the leading scorer in America, but you wouldn't know because I'm not on any cereal box. That's okay. I don't play to be famous. I play because it's the greatest sport in the world. By the way, my name's Roy. Nice to meet you.
This is my idea of a challenge. So when I took the high endurance challenge from Old Spice, that's what I thought I was getting into. What I got was a sure thing. High endurance deodorant. It evaporates less quickly than the leading stick. It also lasts longer and protects better. Old Spice even guarantees it. Or call 1-800-PROVE-IT and they'll buy you a stick of yours. So if you're looking for a real challenge, the sky's the limit. If you're looking for the best deodorant, try high endurance from Old Spice. Because now you've got proof. And a guarantee.
Oh, tomorrow at 8, get the NBA playoffs on TNT.
They were separated by the forces of evil, and now they have been reunited in the name of the law, and they're cleaning up the streets of Chinatown. Stand Your Ground with David Carradine in Kung Fu. The legend continues weeknights at 7 p.m. on TNT.
Now you see Barkley. He's looking at the Houston replay on video. That's Calvin Murphy showing it to him. They called a flagrant foul, 2 foul shots for Stockton, and the ball on the side. Now, you know, we talk about playoff teams winning when you have 2 titans, especially at this time. And we always say, you got to get the easy points. You only get easy points on second shots. Well, Houston's not doing that. And on fast breaks. Tonight, Houston has 2 fast break points tonight, 7 in the 2 games.
Shooting 37% in the series. And that's what they shot against the Jazz in the regular season in the 4 games. Hakeem got a hand on it. Former goalie in soccer's got good hands. We've known that for years. Barkley drives down the middle, foul, and Charles will go to the line. 5:34 now remaining in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, people are squaring off right now, and there's a lot of words between Malone and Olajuwon, and that's why Olajuwon made that statement about Karl Malone about flopping in Game 1. But you can see people are getting in people's faces, and it's all due to frustration. Houston, a very frustrated team. Utah getting better looks at the basket, higher percentage shots. At the Houston end of the floor, everything is a struggle.
Hornacek with his 4th personal foul. Barkley, 15 points and 10 rebounds. Has come on in the second half after a very quiet first half and first game.
We're sitting here with 5:34 to go, Dick. Utah Jazz have 94 points. You know, during the season, 4 games, they only averaged 91 points in 4 games.
This second free throw, Malone looking for the loose ball into the hands of Shandon Anderson. He is going to be quite a player for this club. And if you think of all it is of veteran players, they got some good young ones in Russell and Anderson to name too. Not to mention Ostertag, who's only in his 2nd year. So this team has a definite future. 5 on the shot clock, which is off on the left end where the Jazz is shooting. Hornacek, and a great play. It was Stockton who found the cutter. Hornacek for the basket.
That was a great pass. He threw that one right around his man. That was just gorgeous.
11 assists for John Stockton, the NBA's all-time assist leader. Under 5 minutes remaining. And once again, though, the Rockets look weary, and the Jazz are making them look that way tonight. Maloney for 3, and he's got it. Matt Maloney now with 8 points. 14-point lead by the Jazz. And weren't we here the other night?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, when you play Utah, they wear you down defensively. You have got to pay attention here.
Here's Stockton off the screen. Malone tips it into the hands of Barkley.
You're consistently fighting through screens, a lot of physical contact.
Barkley, he misses a 3, gets the rebound, wide open Maloney. Stockton rushes at him. Looks like the Rockets are settling for perimeter shots right now. Drexler, and the rebound, and And it was Malone and Carr went after it, allowing Olajuwon to pick up the loose ball. Swatted away by Carr. Antoine Carr with another block. You can't say enough about the Jazz half-court defense tonight.
Nah, their defense is great. The bench has been terrific.
And Malone gets fouled.
Once again, they front a post-up player for Utah. They clear out the backside. Nice lob. Keep to look to the right side of the floor. Hornacek's man loses him. How about this pass from Stockton? Just great. Once again, offside movement. Beautiful.
And Carr getting a piece of it, and Charles Barkley is fouled out of the game, picking up his 6th. Barkley fouls out, having scored 16 points and getting 12 rebounds. But a rough night trying to defend Karl Malone and score against the mailman, who hits the first.
Now see what happens. They front. Drexler fronts, and as they lob over the top, here comes Barkley down.
And he definitely gets some piggybacking and then a hammer throw on the arm.
Second one falls off for the mailman. And a timeout called by the Rockets. They're down by 15.